us this morning. Mr. Mays.
Present.
Ms. Lewis.
Present.
Mr. Murphy.
Present.
Ms. Priestley.
Present.
Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Hergenroder.
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Present.
Ms. Worthing.
Present.
We have 7 members present.
We have 7 members present. Requests for changes and/or additions to the agenda.
Point of order.
Yes.
Do we need to officially add public speaking? So I make a motion to have public speaking and council response after the consent agenda.
All right, there's been a motion to add public speaking and council response to the agenda after, which one? Consent agenda. After the consent agenda, and there has been seconded by Ms. Priestley.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Mr. Mays.
Yeah, why wasn't public speaking on here? Do you know?
Madam Clerk.
It was just a typo by me.
Or oversight?
Yes, sir.
And why would it go after the business of consent agenda? My position is it go after requesting changes to the agenda, and so I would make an amendment to the motion for it to go before any business, and I so move.
There's been an amendment to move public speaking and council response right after request for changes in the addition. Any support? Any support? That dies for lack of support.
Madam Chair. Yeah, I don't know if you would consider this the first or second round, but either way, I'm gonna say for the record, I don't want to get in the habit of taking care of the business and then public speaking. This council has a practice of allowing for public to speak prior to voting and taking care of the business and placing it after the consent agenda under these new rules, if I'm reading it right. That means the consent agenda requires agreeing to the action. And so I'm not going to support that motion based on the placement. And so I want to say that for the record, and we'll see what happens in the future.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mays. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Herkenroder?
I just want to direct the attention of the council to Rule 7.1, which outlines the order of business for regular meetings of council, as well as for committee meetings, and as such, it goes consent agenda, and then it goes consent agenda, presentation of minutes, public hearings, and then public speaking, so this would be in order.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else in the first round? All right. Anyone else in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mays?
Madam Chair, as I look at the new rule 7.1, I'll ask the public to speak on it because for years we've always allowed the public to speak before we took care of the business. The public was able to weigh in, and it just makes sense to me. So whoever changed these rules, I know in my opinion, I wasn't involved in it because I was unlawfully removed when these rules went through. And so that's why I think it's very important for elected officials all across town to keep their seat legally, and we'll continue to fight that in light of what happened this past week. We'll continue to fight that. And I'll continue not just to appeal to this council, but I'll appeal to the public as it relates to this drastic change of them speaking after the business is taken care of. I think that's one of the things that have to be looked at as it relates to these new rules. I know 6 of y'all is new. Y'all might not care about the public being able to speak before we make decisions, but I do. And so I'm gonna highlight that, not only in this meeting, but in meetings to come. I think it's a doggone shame that y'all would do the public like that. Thank you so much.
All right, anyone else in the second round? Seeing there's no one else, I will use my time. Madam Clerk?
I just want to say that it was oversight on my part. The agendas for committee meetings, we realized that public speaking wasn't on the last rules, it's not on this rule.
Point of information.
What's your point?
Through you to the speaker, request, point, whatever these new rules say. I cannot hear you, Clerk Donahue. Really, I'm trying to hear what you're saying.
Okay. I was just saying that it will be on the next agenda. It was oversight on my part, and it will come before consent agenda, just like I did on the committees on Wednesday. So even though the rules don't speak to public speaking in committees, we're going to do what we've done in the past, and it will be on before the consent agenda on the next committees and special affairs.
Okay. So thank you so much, Madam Clerk. So with that being said, we will, just roll call. And so we're about to vote on amending the agenda and moving public speaking and council response right after the consent agenda. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor.
No.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
I abstain.
Ms. Hergenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 1 no, 1 abstention.
Vote is 6 yes, 1 no, 1 abstention. So that passes. So next we have the request for changes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve, send the consent agenda to council.
Support.
All right, it has been, motion been made and approved, and seconded for sending the consent agenda to council.
Madam Chair,
All right, are there any separations?
I'd like to separate 230059.
Okay. 230059 be separated.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mays?
Yeah, I'd like to separate 230076, if that's part of the consent agenda. I've got to find out the definition of the consent agenda, I guess, as we move forward, because we've always did resolutions separately from appointments. This consent agenda thing, if it's going to include on these new rules appointments and ordinances and resolutions, I'll look forward to a variety of separations, because this is a little different for me, and it could very well become problematic. So I'd ask that that be separated as well.
Okay, so it appears at this point that we do not have a consent agenda because we only have 2 things, and both of the things have been separated. So it looks like we would just go through every item, all 3 of them.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
What rule has been broken, Mr. Mays?
And what's also problematic about this motion to approve a consent agenda,
No, Mr. Mays, what rule has been broken when you say point of order?
beg your pardon?
What rule has been broken?
The rule as it relates to 2 rounds after a motion has been made and properly seconded. If you will allow me, ma'am, I'll get to my point of order, and if you interpret it right, then you'll respond to it. but I don't think it's proper for you to continue talking when I'm trying to make a point of order. Let me make it. May I?
No, your point of order is denied.
Oh, you don't want me to make my point of order? That's what you just said? Proceed, because this foolishness is going to stop. A point of order, you don't tell me not to make it before I even finish it. What is you, an emergency manager, a dictator? That court case ain't over yet, Madam Chair. Go ahead. I want the record to show you won't let me talk.
The chair will entertain a motion to move Resolution 2300.
Point of order.
Ms.
We
Piper.
we agreed to have public speaking.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You are absolutely right. All right, 1 second. Thank you, Mr. Pfeiffer. Any public speakers?
Oh, hello, council. My name is R.L. Mitchell. I live at 759 East Linden Avenue in Flint, Michigan. My zip code 48505, where you people confront me down it. To you, Madam Chair, about this special thing on the agenda tonight about Michigan, and you didn't want the public to speak. I want you to know I was invited to a U of M campus yesterday morning, and I didn't know what she would take to a recital. It happened to be in Midland. Anyway, whatever, Glenn Rice played basketball, and his coaches walked out on him, but Glenn Rice won the championship anyway. I seen his picture in his uniform. I pointed at it. The lady I was with told me, she hit my hand and said, "Don't you show out on me in front of all these people. Treat me like a drunken kid." And Mr. Viper looked just like Glenn Rice coaches. Don't want the prayers or the business to be taken care of. And I rented a car yesterday, and the young lady I actually couldn't find had me out there, and the peoples of U of M jumped on the 14-year-old lady because she got locked out. I still got the bands on my hand. And they asked, "Ma'am, could we search what's in your purse?" The little lady, I'm proud of her because she checked. She said, "You can't go in my purse, sir." Ma'am, that was the same young lady who went back there in the bathroom. I wish you would have checked in and she would have told you a thing or two. Especially, and you, Madam Chair, always, and you and Madam Clerk, I like y'all, don't know when to hire a secretary doing all this stuff. Like last week, the mayor had the money man on this side and the money woman on that side, and called herself calling the shots for 24 to 25, like we went stones as okie dokies. And I want you to know, for TikTok, now you people, y'all fund me,
Mr.
and
Mitchell, that's your time.
what time got to do with it? You see what them coaches walked out on Glenn Rice, and still he won this. Hey, Glenn Rice,
Thank
your free
you.
throws for you. And
Thank
look at
you.
it, man, that dude looking like he ain't looked up yet. Look like Glenn Rice coaches.
Thank you,
Remember-
Mr. Mitchell.
And they say it's 9 miles down the road. They got some place in put me. They almost gonna lock me up down there. What's wrong with it? I ain't know Midland was that dangerous. What's it called?
Mr. Mitchell,
Ben Harbor.
thank you. Any more public speakers?
Hello, my name is Moses Timlin. I'm a 7th Ward resident. I just want to start off briefly by saying Happy Women's Month to all the women leaders on the council and to Dr. Mona, who I see in the crowd. Thank you all for your leadership. I just quickly want to reintroduce myself. I'm an urban planner and development coordinator for a local nonprofit. As you may see tonight, there's a potential appointment for me to serve as an alternate on the Board of Appeals. I'm honored to be considered for this appointment. Members of the board asked me to submit my resume, given my background in zoning, redevelopment, and contracting with skilled trades. I care about this board because it deals directly with ruling on decisions relating to redevelopment projects. Revitalizing the city's housing stock and commercial structures should be supported by the Board of Appeals' ability to meet and rule fairly. Thus, this appointment will allow me to serve on the board as an alternate if a quorum for the meeting cannot be reached. Additionally, and most important to me, this board rules on privately owned blighted structures through the standard motion process. According to the most recent blight elimination framework, 54% of all blighted structures in the city of Flint are privately owned. Therefore, the standard motion procedure is critical in the building department's toolkit to address the negative impacts of privately owned blight. I appreciate this time to speak before you, and thank you all for what you do.
Thank you, Mr. Tomlin. Any other public speakers?
Hello, good evening. My name is Deon Freeman. It's been a long time since I've been down here at any of the council meetings, and so I just wanted to take this moment to say hello to everyone. I plan to speak later on during the actual council meeting, and so I just wanted to reintroduce myself and say I'm here, and hopefully I can find some things to do with you all to help our city better.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Any other public speakers? Any other public speakers? Now, public speaking is now closed. Now it's time for council response.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mays?
Yeah, I want you to look up at me. You say you are Moses Timlin?
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you showed up for public speaking because I know you from sight, but I didn't know you by name. And that's one of the reasons you demonstrated why I want public speaking before we take action. Because I've always said I like to meet the people we have to appoint. This council seems to just appoint people. They don't take it, in my opinion, as seriously as they should. You've now put a face and person with the resume, and that helps me tremendously. I can support you for the Building Code Board of Appeals, and I can now support you in this first action. Prior to you speaking, to help make my point, I didn't know you by name, but I 100% know you when I match name and face together. Thank you so much for helping me to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Mr. Mitchell, it's always a pleasure. If people listen close, they'll make sense out of what you talk about. I know I do. Deon, good to see you. You still First Ward?
Yep.
Good to have you at the council meeting. This is my third group, and even though you're saying hello to them, they a handful. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much.
Any other council members?
Yes,
Mr. Murphy?
thank you. Thank you to both of the speakers and to Moses. Thank you for willing to serve as an alternate of the Board of Appeals. I will be watching that very closely, and I did look at the blight framework. And when I looked at the blight framework, part of the blight framework was created that did these mold strips. So they cut from the street to the sidewalk, and then 1 foot when they used to cut the whole entire vacant lot. So based on that blight framework, less properties are being cut in our community, especially in the 3rd Ward, that is one of the highest blighted areas. So if it was left up to Councilman Murphy, I would take that blight frame up and tear it up in front of whoever face that made it. Because at the end of the day, my neighborhood tore up to the flow up. So I look forward to working with you and whoever else on the board. We gotta look at that blight framework, because the north end of Flint look like a disaster, especially my ward, and they ain't just get like that in 1 year. And then to the audience and the people that's listening, this council, I just want to read to y'all the order of business, because a lot of us, despite what y'all hear from some of our colleagues or one particular colleague, we here to try to do the right thing. In the order of business, say call to order, reading of disorderly persons, request for changes, consent agreement, presentations amendment, minutes, public hearing, public speaking. So we're not leaving no one out. Only thing happened today is we didn't have public speaking printed on the agenda. So this council has no attempt to try to take anything out. What we doing is moving the city of Flint forward, and we will continue to move the city of Flint forward because people elected us to come down here and do the right thing, despite what my colleague may think. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy. Any more for council response? Last call for council response. Council response is now closed.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Herkenrode?
I'd like to make a motion to postpone Resolution 230059 to the next Special Affairs Committee meeting.
Support.
Okay, there's been a motion to postpone Resolution 230059 to the next Special Affairs meeting, and that is supported by Eva Worthing. Any discussion?
If there's discussion, Madam Chair, I would like it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Mays.
Beg your pardon?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I see Ms. Ferguson back there. Ms. Ferguson, can she approach?
It's 3 minutes, not 5 minutes.
The podium is all yours, Ms. Ferguson. It's like that, you in the mirror and the money man.
Yeah, Ms. Ferguson, I talked with you between meetings, and I was prepared to make proper amendments to this 300,000 to add more navigators or people in your office in order to properly serve those 400 or 500 forms that people turned in requesting ARPA money. Since the last meeting, I've also got a list of people who is on the so-called advisory committee. I call it a so-called illegal advisory committee because it's actually a multi-member body. Do you know how much the average navigator makes? And do you also know how many you might need to properly serve those initial forms that has been turned in?
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councilman Mays, navigator positions that are currently posted are between $15 and $16 an hour.
$15, $16 an hour. What do that come to annually, do you know?
Off the top of my head, I do not know. I don't recall.
Okay, let's see if we can figure out what that is annually. And I want to figure out how many do you think is going to be tied up if they participated in servicing those people who turned in those initial forms and the people who's going to come who didn't turn in those initial forms. Do you have an idea of, how much time that's going to take, folks? Because last time you talked about if y'all sent them out to other agencies and the other agencies couldn't service them, then they would come back. Do you know, or have you thought about how much manpower, how many people, and how much time that'll take them? Do you know?
That office hasn't been fully staffed in well over a year. At full capacity, there would be 4 public health navigators to do the work that they already had in place. And so just an estimate, I would say an additional 2 would be needed to respond quickly to the requests that they received in the way of home repair.
Well, I want the record to reflect that I'm willing to amend this 300,000 upwards. I'm willing to amend it so they could have additional people to service those people who turned in the initial forms and the people who are going to come to you in that office because this council, in my opinion, wrongfully ceased taking in the initial forms. Have there been a form yet designed for individuals, or we just have the process going on for the nonprofits? Is there a form for individuals yet, any kind?
Not yet.
And so I knew the answer would probably be not yet, but I'm getting calls from people who didn't turn in forms, had the desire to turn in forms, and this council wrongfully and misguided, in my opinion, made a key decision.
Mr. Mays, your time is up.
I'll wait for my second round. Thank you, Ms. Ferguson.
Anyone else in the first round?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes, thank you so much. And yes, this council did vote to not take in those forms. We never voted to start taking the forms in like that. We did the 4 rounds. So why my colleagues say we are wrongfully stopped and deceased the applications, we did it for a reason, because it was unfortunate that we had all them applications coming in, and now we got to try to figure out what we go do.
Point of information.
What's your point?
Through you to the speaker, wouldn't you be misguided calling them applications? Weren't they initial forms, not applications?
Mr. Mays, so we don't want to use the floor.
What
like
did
that.
you?
I said we don't want to misuse our points of information to take the floor, to ask improper
Point of
questions.
order.
What rule has been broken?
Are you responding to that request for information in order to scold me as if it was or wasn't? I think the rules say that you say deny, proceed, or whatever, not give a speech. So if you're going to follow the rules, why don't you look and see what...
Deny.
Point of...
Please continue, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you so much. As I was stating before, my colleague in the first ward said we wrongfully stopped taking the applications. Well, we rightfully have a right, because that's that's what democracy looked like, to stop taking the forms, because we had people believing that if they put a form in that they might be getting some help from their house or whatever, and I feel it was being misled. So now that we here, and you guys are going to be taking the applications or whatever you guys are going to be doing as far as navigating, have you considered having some technical assistance in the department to deal with navigating people through on the computer? I went on the computer to try to help somebody apply for some funding, and we got stuck in an area. They emailed us a number, but we couldn't click on to the link. So if I had problems with it, and someone elderly want to go on the website and try to get some help, and they was trying to get some help outside of trying to apply for some ARPA dollars. I think they was trying to apply for some state dollars to help them with their property taxes, and the computer didn't let them go no further. So just think if elderly people trying to maneuver through trying to go on the website to apply for this and apply for this, because we want people to go to the website, will you guys have someone in that office or department that will be able to sit down with individuals to help maneuver them through whatever it is that they need to apply for, whether they need to apply through Habitat, G-Card, or whatever, or y'all just sending them referrals and making them go on their way and let them go figure it out themselves?
Anyone who stops by the Office of Public Health can get some assistance. I'm not sure which website you're referring to that someone was trying to apply for some funds and had an issue with, and were unable to get a phone call to someone for additional assistance. But if it was related to something that the city or the Office of Public Health has released, then by all means they can stop by and get assistance.
No, it wasn't for the city. I'm just saying they wanted to go get some help from an organization. So if they come down to y'all office and they can't get on the computer, it ain't got to be necessarily some funding from the city of Flint, but will y'all be able to help them with whatever it is that they trying to do? If not, we got to think outside the box. That's all I'm saying. And my minutes is up.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Anyone else would like to speak? Anyone else would like to speak? Okay. So being that no one else would like to speak,
Point of order. You
Mr. Mays.
neglecting a major thing. You want to ask, does anybody want to speak in the first round? And then before you decide nobody want to speak, you ask, is there a speaker in the second round?
So Mr. Mays, according to the new rules, we only have one round, and I will let Attorney Kim, could you please verify that?
Point of information.
What is your point?
So you saying when a motion is made and put on the floor properly, under these new rules, there's only one 5-minute round. Is that what I'm understanding?
Councilmember Mays, this motion in particular is governed now.
Point of order. Did you give him the floor?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
This is a motion to refer to committee, and under the rules, Rule 19.3 states that debate on the motion to refer shall be limited to one round of discussion, 3 minutes per council member. That's a specific limitation to this specific motion.
Thank you.
So now we are looking to send resolution 230059 back to Special Affairs Committee. All right, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
I abstain.
Ms. Burns.
I abstain.
Ms. Herkenroder.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Ms. Worthing.
Yes.
Mr. Mays.
No.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no, 2 abstentions.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no, and 2 abstentions. So resolution 230059 will be sent back to the Special Affairs Committee. Now we
Madam
move on to
Chair.
appointments.
I'd like to make a motion to move appointment 230076 to council.
All right, there has been a motion to move appointment 230076 to council. Any support?
Support.
Supported by Ms. Herkenroder. Any
Yes.
discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Call for the question.
All right, there's been a call for the question. Have roll call, Madam Clerk? Oh, second, it has to be seconded. Is there a second? Supported by Mr. Pfeiffer. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Herkenroder.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Ms. Worthing.
Yes.
Mr. Mays.
I abstain for the reason that I won't probably never vote on motions that is made, no discussion, and call for the question. I think that's ignorant.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention for calling for the question. So now we will vote on appointment 230076 to send it to council.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Herkenroder.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Ms. Worthing.
Yes.
Mr. Mays.
Yeah, I abstain as it relates to the process. As I previously said, I think it's an ignorant process and it takes away anybody who want to have discussion. I think it's ignorant.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention. Appointment 230076 has been moved to council. Now we're on to our special order and discussion items, and we have a special order by Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha and MSU.
Hello, it's great to see everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Chairperson Lewis, for this opportunity to present about a program called RX Kids, or Prescription Kids. Before I talk about that, I just want to start by thanking you all for your leadership, for helping move this city forward. So often when I talk about Flint, I talk about the amazing community that we have, the resilience, the pride, the grit, the loyalty, and I think you guys embody all that. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being a partner. And once again, thank you for this opportunity to talk about this really exciting thing that we have planned for Flint babies. So as you know, I am a pediatrician here in Flint, still a practicing pediatrician, and I have the greatest joy of caring for our kids every day. And there is not a day that goes by that I wish I couldn't do more for our kids. that I couldn't, and we do a lot here, especially since the water crisis. We have built so many amazing things, from early childhood to Imagination Library, where all kids get books in the mail, to mental health support services, trauma-informed care. The list goes on. The Flint Registry, which I help run. There's so many awesome things that we do here, especially for our children. But there's one thing that continues to make our kids sick. Not just today, but really that threatens them for a long time. It's something that I wish I could prescribe like a medication for, but I can't. And that one thing that is kind of at the root of so many of our problems that our kids face is poverty. It impacts our children's health. It impacts the adults that they will become. It impacts their education, their mental health, their outcomes, homelessness, gun violence, you name it, and poverty is linked to it. Our city, Flint, is actually, I'm sure you know this, Flint is the poorest city in our state. And our kids, we have a child poverty rate of about 50%. Inside your packet, there's a map of Flint. Working closely with one of our geographers here in Flint, I had him kind of map out, like, where are the poor kids? Like, maybe we could do something for just one side of Flint, maybe this ward or that ward, or the north side or the south side. And when he mapped out the city of Flint, and when we looked at child poverty, especially for our youngest kids, it's everywhere. There are pockets of our city where 80 to 100% of our kids are born into and grow up in poverty. And that, once again, makes people sick. So I've been kind of frustrated about this for a long time. I thought it was something that we couldn't really do much about. But here in Flint, we do big things, right? We're not afraid to do hard things and big things, and we're not afraid to do things that we end up sharing with communities all over. Flint folks are leaders. I thought, like, we can address this. We don't have to just shrug our shoulders anymore. We can do something about this. So I'm sure you've heard of child allowances. Child allowances are something that every other country does. In this country, we did a really good job during the pandemic when we expanded the child tax credit. Unfortunately, that was not renewed by Congress, but we helped kids out of poverty. We lifted about 4 million children out of poverty when that child tax credit was renewed. So this is kind of an idea based on child allowances, but it is a prenatal and infant allowance. We would like to give every pregnant mom and every infant in Flint up to the age of 5 an allowance, an unconditional cash allowance that they can spend to help raise their family, because it is hard to raise a family. The period of pregnancy and infancy is the time period when families are the most poor. And unfortunately and tragically, that's also the same time period when children's brains are developing the most. So if you had to pick a most critical time in the development of a child, it's that first year of life, and that's when the families are most poor. So where we have landed on this project is this, once again, this prenatal cash allowance, and then a monthly child allowance until the age of 1. I'm working closely with my colleague here, Professor Luke Schaefer from the University of Michigan. He was one of the architects of the National Child Tax Credit. He is a poverty expert. He's at University of Michigan. He runs a center called Poverty Solutions. This work is also very much informed in partnership with community and also from data. So like I said, I run the Flint Registry. We have a lot of amazing data. And something that we are learning, besides kind of a lot of health disparities, something that we are learning is that families are struggling. They are struggling making their ends meet. So this work is informed by data. It's informed by our community partners. We're working closely with the Health Coalition, lots of other groups, to do this really, really big idea that has never been done before. There's programs like this around the country, but they have like 10 participants or 100 families, and we're going to do this for the whole city. And because we're going to do this for the whole city, we can look at big community measures like, what does it do to population stability? Do less people leave Flint? Do people move into Flint? What does it do to neighborhood safety and gun violence? What does it do to economic reinvestment? We anticipate that money is going to be spent in the community. This will be a jolt into the Flint economy. And then what does it do to civic engagement? Do more people trust government? Do more people have faith in institutions that are meant to protect them? Do more people vote because of this kind of innovative idea? So we just wanted to share this idea. There's some handouts in our packet. We are working also closely with an international organization called Give Directly, which manages the cash transfers. They enroll people. There's a mobile app. The money gets deposited into their accounts. They have fraud detection, 24 hours, 7 customer service. So once again, this is not a new idea, but this has never been done before in a whole city, and it's never been done for kids. So we are excited to share this. I'm going to bring up Professor Luke Schaefer to share a little bit about kind of child allowances and child poverty and what else everyone wants to say.
Great, thank you. I'm so excited to be here and so excited that Dr. Mona started talking with members of the community about this idea. I've been researching child allowances and the child tax credit for many years now. And the thing that's incredible is country after country, when they do programs like this, you see child poverty plummet. You see the number of families reporting they're having trouble putting food on the table decline. And the amazing thing is that you can see it well up the economic ladder. This is a program that is targeting poverty, but it's for every kid in Flint. And what we could see with the child tax credit is middle-class families are struggling too with the incredible cost of raising kids. What I know from hanging out with Dr. Mona is that first year of life is when the baby's brain doubles in size. And so if we're going to target 1 year, that's the year to do it. So I'm just so excited about the possibility for Flint to be a national leader to say, you know what, we're going to come alongside our kids. We're going to say the work of parenting is hard, and we're going to help you in that incredible work and help you do it at the best possible ways that you can. By buying books for your kiddo, by buying diapers, maybe being able to pay the rent so you're not facing homelessness. So it's an exciting opportunity that I'm just thrilled to be a part of, and look forward to seeing where we can go together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Chair.
you so much, Dr. Mona. And one second.
Madam Chair.
1 second, Mr. Mays. Thank you. So thank you so much for coming to present. And so now we're going to open it up.
Great.
And so just a side note, since this special order only has 20 minutes, we're going to use the balance of the time for the order, okay? So thank you so much. Mr. Mays.
Yeah, Madam Chair. Dr. Mona, Hannah, Atisha, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You know, I hear some of my new colleagues and I hear people talk about the city of Flint and moving Flint forward and what Flint can and can't do, but I think we proved that already, what we can do. I met you during the water crisis. You paid attention to the children then. I spoke to you earlier about that initial press conference, and so it's good to see you here.
I haven't left. Still here.
People who we've worked with and accomplished great things, contrary to some of what my colleagues say. You know, I've been criticized by them. I let it go in one ear and out the other. The way they've been operating, if I say don't deal with this program, you'll have 6 automatic votes. And so, you know, we'll see what political strategy we use if the votes of the council is to fund what you're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying about the tax credit. We have certain monies now. People are coming. We've got philanthropic organizations, the My Foundation, for sure. But when it comes to the children, and you've championed that, and now you're attaching your name with this, you and the professor has showed up, you've got my attention. And, you know, on the surface, you've got my support.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to sit here with you standing here. I'm going to use this opportunity to remind folks when they might not have been around, we were working.
Absolutely.
And we're still working. And nobody's going to take that work away from us in the city of Flint. The city of Flint, we have proven, some of us, that we'll do the work. We have proven that we will speak up whether we're the underdog, and then end up the top dogs. So, you know, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Sleeves rolled up. Sleeves rolled up.
Good to see
Continue to
you.
work.
So we'll roll up our sleeves. I'll look at the packet a little closer. And, you know, it don't have to be in this arena. We can talk away from this arena to get a clear understanding of what we need to do mechanically in order to pull this off
Absolutely.
for the city of Flint and the children of the city
The
of Flint,
babies.
and see if we can be successful in this endeavor as we was during the water crisis.
We'll do it.
And I say we. God bless you, and God bless
Thank
the
you.
children of the city of Flint.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Worthing.
Welcome. So are you asking something specifically from the city of Flint, or is this already funded?
It's not funded yet. We are raising money. We are submitting an ARPA application through the process that everybody is submitting. To make this happen, we need $10 million a year, and we want to do it for 5 years. But we are confident that we're going to make that happen. We just came back from DC. We were at the White House. We were at Congress. There is national interest in what Flint is doing. There's also the potential to leverage some state dollars. So we are fully confident that we are going to get the resources we need to launch this. And many places that are launching this, Chicago, Cook County, are using their ARPA dollars. And we would, you know, we see it as very logical for the city to be part of this, but we're not asking for money right now. We just wanted to tell you about the project and how excited we are, and that I'm fully confident it's going to happen.
Thank you. I wish I had this when my kids were little. They're older now. But honestly, even middle class, diapers are expensive.
Diapers are expensive.
Formula. My son and daughter both needed a special formula,
Yep.
and it was $500 per month.
Yep.
That was insanity to me, that insurance would not pay for a prescription formula. We have so many gaps that people don't realize when having children. And so $500 a month is a strap for almost everyone in the city. So, well, I hope the committee looks through this, and because public health is, you know, it's the main priority, I think, of Flint residents.
Yep.
So I really hope the ARPA committee looks through this and finds favor. But this is very extensive. I can't read it all, but thank you so much for this information. And I really hope you receive all your
Thanks.
funding, because this is really
Thank
good.
you. Yeah, the first allowance is in pregnancy, and that's purposeful. I'm sure you're aware of the significant maternal-infant health disparities that we have, high rates of infant mortality and prematurity and low birth weight, and folks having a hard time to get to their prenatal appointments. So we hope to make an impact even before kids are born, and then continue through that really critical first year of life, where once again, like Professor Luke said, brains double in size, and families are struggling.
Well, even though, you know, I have it good compared to others, a stressful early years, even in pregnancy, I had really stressful pregnancies. My children are both ADHD. I can only imagine the water crisis affected these types of behaviors as well, but if there's any stress during pregnancy.
We're measuring
or
stress.
Yeah, and so then this is a lifetime thing. So even after 5 years, I mean, there's therapy, there's medications, like all these things are needed. And I'm a teacher, so I see the effects even in middle school of early development. So I love this. Thank you. And I don't want to take up everyone's time. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Worthing. Mr. Murphy?
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. This is a great idea, what you got going on, but you also got to look at, and I'm sure you read the civil rights report during the water crisis.
Yes.
The disinvestment in our community is the reason why, and when you look at your heading, they say Flint is the poorest city in the state. Why is it like that? Because of the disinvestment. And I support giving kids money, but you got to look at the blight. the
Yep.
non-structural blight,
Absolutely.
the disinvestment in the schools,
Absolutely.
the disinvestment in the parks.
Yep.
So when you bring in the plan, I want to
Yep.
talk about kids, I also want to see you talk about how do we give homeowners that's got tarps on their roofs some money?
Yep.
How can we get $10 million to
Yep.
invest in our parks where in the summertime, our kids utilize the parks?
Yep.
So when you look at this right here, this is one thing.
one thing.
But then what about the rest of it? When you look at over $1 billion done came into the city of Flint, and look, downtown Flint look real good, but where do you see the investment over there in the urban communities where it's real poor at? If I'm a kid, when I go outside, I don't want to see no vacant house with a whole bunch of windows open and the doors open and the vacant lots with a whole bunch of trash and all of that stuff. So when you bring a plan right here and you want to talk about giving some money to some kids, also don't forget to talk about the investment. Look at the businesses down there. They can't even get no money to even help them down there. The homeowners got tarps and stuff all on their roof. So when we talk about this, let's be fair. And when you guys are brilliant and y'all intelligent people, so in the middle of y'all talking about giving kids some money, talk about investing over there in the urban communities where for years and decades, residents done had to grow up with all of this vacant lots and blight around there. That's what I want to see.
Thank you, Councilman Murphy. I completely agree. This is decades of disinvestment and systemic inequities and racism and lots of things that created these inequities. This is one solution. You mentioned playgrounds, the Flint Kids Fund. One of the first things that we funded was 10 playgrounds in Flint for our kids to play. Blight removal. So many homes have been demolished, and actually my work with the multi-sector group Flint Lead Free, which is part of the registry, where we're kind of tracking pipe replacements and home abatements and homes demolished. Because of all the demolitions, we've been able to save our city $202 million when you add up the return on investment by savings to education and criminal justice and healthcare. So all of that is important. This is one piece of the puzzle, and a really important piece of the puzzle when you look at the science of early childhood. But yeah, and I'm glad to see that the ARPA funds are also funding a lot of the home improvements and other resources that people need. Thank you. If 2 minutes left, happy to take any additional questions or comments. And my information is on that handout. I'm happy to talk to anybody at length or provide any more information. But we just are excited to share this with you. We wanted you to know about this pretty early. Looking forward to your additional input and insight. But this is a big thing that Flint is going to do, and it's once again not going to just be for Flint. It's going to have national ripple effects.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns?
Thank you. Dr. Monteith, we're down to very limited time. I want to say thank you for what you do. And pediatricians are important, and you are a world-renowned pediatrician. My 27-year-old still wants to go to his pediatrician,
Yes.
Dr. Crowley.
Oh, he's
a
the
friend
best.
of ours.
Yes.
So I want to say thank you for addressing this, because people who live in poverty face very real issues. Diapers. They live in a home where they may not
Stress.
know if their heat is going to be cut off. They don't have access to internet, which now they need for school, a lot of them. They don't have clothing. A lot of kids don't start school because they don't have money for uniforms, or the parents don't, or the only meal that they get is the meal that they get at school.
I know.
So when you're talking, this is great. The children matter, but it may sound cliche. They really are our future.
Yeah.
They really and truly are, and we have to invest in the children.
Right.
And Flint children or kids and who are born into the water crisis, they face so many more obstacles than other children.
Yep.
So many other. And we look at the lead and how is it really going to play out, over the years and the lifespan of their lives and their lives if they have children. So I appreciate what you're doing and taking the interest, and also reading. Reading, we used to have the little Saturday morning cartoons where reading is fundamental, and Dollar Bill and all of those, and the educating. Reading is so important. Reading is knowledge and its power.
Yes.
And you've taken a lot of the things that we need to pay attention to give these people, the moms, and I'm going to say the dads, because people often take the dads out.
Oh, no.
They're important also.
Absolutely. This is for a family. It's not just kids. It's for the whole family. Thank you. I think my time is up. Thanks again for your leadership. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Mona. Absolutely. Thank you.
Madam
All
Chair.
So now the special order is now over. Mr. Pfeiffer,
Motion to adjourn.
there's been a motion to adjourn,
Support.
supported by Ms. Herkenroder. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Herkenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Mr. Mays is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Special Affairs meeting is now closed at 5:49.
We gotta do a motion. I need to go. We need to do a motion to adjourn.
It is 6:01 on Monday, March 13th. I hereby call the meeting of the Flint City Council to order. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Okay, Mr. Mays is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Mr. Murphy's in the back.
Mr. Murphy is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Herkenroder?
Present.
My mic is
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Ms. Worthing?
Present.
We have 7 members present.
There are 7 members present. That brings us down to the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Burns, would you care to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go into our blessing for the evening, is there any member of council who wishes to honor a community member who has passed?
Yes,
Mr. Murphy.
I would like to do a moment of silence for Lisa Scroggins, also Gail Flynn that passed away. And that's about it right now.
Lisa Scroggins and Gail Flynn.
Yes,
Okay.
and, yep.
Okay. Are there any other members of council who wish to honor someone?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Because my mic is hot. Okay, because I'm still down, so up, down, I'm the same. For my next door neighbor, Mr.
Oh. It was just
was
on.
hot.
It
It's
was
on.
just on.
I
Try
can
it.
hear you.
There you go.
Okay. It's a short, must be. Yeah. For my next door neighbor, Mr. Lester Haynes, also known as Blue to the community.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any others?
Madam President,
Yes.
I will request a moment of silence for Mr. Claudel Ruffin. Mr. Claudel Ruffin. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any others? All right. Dr. Lewis, if you don't mind, we'll do the blessing, and then we'll stand for a moment of silence.
Dear Heavenly Creator, we thank you for allowing us to gather today. We thank you for allowing us to gather one more time to do the business of the city, and also to do your will to move in this city, this county, this state, this nation forward. We ask that you have favor and grace amongst the leaders, amongst the people that were elected to represent your people, and we ask that you give us the discernment to do what needs to be done. In your name we pray. Amen.
Let's stand for a moment of silence for those moments. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Burns, I can turn you on and off up here, so you just give me the signal and I'll turn you on, okay? Okay. Okay. It is an option. All right. So that brings us down to the reading of the disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 31-10, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest, and violators shall be removed from the meetings. Bless you. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Going once, going twice. Hearing none, that brings us down to the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
It has been moved and properly supported. Are there any separations? Are there any separations? Are there any separations?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'm going to separate one. 230063.
2300 what now?
63?
Okay.
That's the only one.
Any others?
Yes.
Yep.
I would like to separate, trying to find the one with the St. John Street renamed.
That is 230077.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any others? Are there any others? Final call? Where is that? Is that in the rules differently though? Because we need to have the public hearing before the enactment of the second reading of ordinance 230052, the chair will also ask that that be separated.
I still move.
Well, you don't have to. That's
I
me.
know,
That's-
I know. I
You don't have to do that. All
I'll
right.
separate 230052.6.
Okay.
She said .6.
It's not .6, because that's the hearing, but the ordinance itself.
Okay. Point 2?
No, no points.
Okay. I can't find it. so.
All right. Okay, and I apologize, it looks like my computer just did something a little bit wonky. Mr. Murphy, I have your separation. Mr. Pfeiffer, you said 6-3?
Yes.
Okay. And we have that public hearing. All righty. There is no discussion on the motion to adopt a consent agenda. So roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mays is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Herbenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
8 yes, 0 no, that is approved. That brings us down to our public hearing. For any member of the public who wish to address council in regards to public hearing 230052, which is an ordinance to amend the Flint City Code ordinances regarding the city administrator. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak? You have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Ira Mitchell. I live at 759 East Linden Avenue. Ma'am, to you, Madam President, about this situation about this Flint. I was born by Flint River down south in Georgia, and I ended up on New Jersey Street, and about the St. John changing the name, it was a big rock there, over a ton.
Mr.
And I want you
Mitchell.
to not be...
Mr.
What?
Mitchell, this is for the public hearing on the ordinance.
Yeah, about the Michigan lady who's going to give every child in Flint that got poisoned by from year to 5 years old, because we know Michigan State got deep pockets. We already told them to get up from the table because they're doing more work than Suzanne Wilcox. We wanted to give Calorie a chance to see how deep their pockets is, because Suzanne Wilcox is going to leave the city in April, and they're going to act like they can't find nobody to replace her, and you up there rushing people with them goopy rude 3 minutes to talk. Oh, I got 2 more minutes. I can take my time now to talk about Suzanne Wilcox, the master plan. She called herself won't tear down certain houses, but to still pocket the money, and And now she's trying to figure out the way to leave us Flintstones in a situation where the Mike can always bail us out with them deep pockets, but give them old Einstein peoples a chance, or Calorie. And Calorie, so everybody's sitting back and letting U of M run the city, and we got the professor in the house backing Madam, whatever her name up, and you know, and talking about, and my councilman talking about them peoples in the first ward lying about the roofers and stuff, and all, talking about it's not true, and the city attorney Kim acting like putting words in your mouth, and that, who you think the peoples of Flint is? Some inventing the wheel all over again like cavemans? We already did that once, we went and do it twice. But we're going to electric cars this time and beam them up Scotty and all that stuff. Who you think, in the peoples of the nation, all up in the whole United States, down in Texas, getting done, the act of God flooding you out right now for messing with us Flintstones and the Memphis boys and all that junk and the po-po, trying to kill the witnesses and stuff, the peoples in Flint and all that junk, and you getting dealt with right while we speak. We the people, use drunken heathens, like I say, fund me, TikTok, over and anyway, I got 15 more seconds. Anyway, like I said, I got a mailbox in my zip code 48505. Just send the check in the mailbox. I can cash a check. You got that? That was my zippers. The other thought I couldn't catch it. See over there drinking the Coke right now.
Thank you,
My time
Mr.
up?
Mitchell. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Is there any other member of the public who wishes to speak in regards to the public hearing for ordinance 230, nope, I'm sorry. Take 3. 220546. All right, seeing no movement in the audience, this public hearing is now closed. The chair will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 230052.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, so it's been moved and properly supported. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
Once again, this is an ordinance to change the job description qualifications for the city administrator. I think at the meeting last month, you guys talked about also the pay rate, and I know this is only dealing with the job description. I'm not understanding why is it important at this time to even work on changing a particular staff in administration job description, like in the middle, through you to the HR director. Is he here?
Mr. Smith.
So while my time is still moving forward, I know you guys also talked about possibly increasing his raise. I like the city administrator. I think he's a nice guy. I just think it's bad timing, and I would like to also just look at the other personnel, making sure that the police department, the fire department, and everybody else is they pay raise is being increased too, while we talking about doing, and I know this ain't talking about the pay rate, because I know one of my colleagues probably will come back and say that this is not for a pay raise, but why are we even dealing with a job description right now? I just don't agree. Through you to the HR director, why is it important right now, in the middle of someone already having a position as a city administrator, to bring ordinance to change the job description in his position? He already has the position. They voted on his position. He's in there. It's not like it's up for him to lose the position. So why is it important right now to change the job description, unless it's to change it first in order to come back with later on ask for the pay rate? Or if, do we have the discretion to even stop the pay rate or increase, do the pay rate got to be approved by city council? Or is it just the budget go to the mayor's department and then they just give him the pay rate that way without even coming to city council? So those are my two questions.
Okay, I'm going to defer your question about whether we can do that to our legal team. But in answering your question, why change the job description, I think it kind of falls back on why do we look at all of our job descriptions at this time? And we try to constantly look at them to see if we're being competitive, if we're meeting market. It's the same thing we did when we went through the bargaining process, looking to see, if our jobs are paying to market. So it's not unusual to look at job descriptions each year to see if it's to market. I don't know if that answers your question for this particular position, but I would defer to our legal as far as whether.
So not to be cutting you off.
Sure.
Who made the decision to bring this here? Was it you? Was it someone else? Who the one made the decision to bring this now?
It wasn't me. It wasn't
Okay.
HR, so that's not a call that
So,
HR
I
made.
mean, because right now, what I'm saying, he already in the position. So it ain't like he's being removed from that position. So, I mean, for real, like, we got a whole bunch of fish to fry dealing with the city business. I'm not understanding why all of a sudden, someone that's already in the position, you guys decided to bring and make an amendment to a job description for someone that's already in the position, unless there's something coming behind it. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
I don't know if I have your answer, but I do know that it's not unusual to look at positions that are occupied to see if we're still paying at market. The whole point of looking at positions is to see if we can retain employees, and if that employee leaves, can we recruit employees? So, I mean, the city is so far behind in our pay, and this isn't unusual. It's not new. Across the board, we're below market.
All right, we got 30 seconds left. Could someone answer the question of, if this get approved, will the pay rate, if it's possible, will it come back to city council, or do the administration be able to do that in the budget?
Yeah, the council member, the way that the ordinance for appointed officer salaries works is that the council defines the salary range for the positions, and then that the positions then can be filled within that salary range. So by setting this salary range, this is what the position can be paid without having to come back to council. However, the department does need to have the funds available to pay those salaries.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other discussion in the first round on the motion to approve ordinance 230052?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Mays.
I'm not going to vote to approve this salary range. This salary range can go up to $150,000 a year. $150,000 a year. Now, that would put the city administrator, if not the highest, one of the highest salaries in the city. Now, how many salaries is over 150,000? I don't know. But when you look at the timing of this proposal coming, and the change is the salary, then you hear the city attorney say to this council, once you set the range, they can raise the salary, and ain't nothing you can do about it. You set the range at $150,000 a year. Now, I know the city of Flint. I know who Mr. Neely is. I know who Mr. Edwards is. I know who Ed Taylor is. I mean, I know Flint. I know the fire chief, Mr. Wiggins. I knew the Fire Chief Ray Barton. I know Flint. And then I know City Hall. And Mr. Edwards ain't ran City Hall this good to get $150,000. Mr. Edwards allowed Whittigan to not attend Finance Committee meetings when Ms. Burns was Finance Chair. Mr. Edwards allowed complaints to be filed when I was president, and Whittigan and Finance and Water Department filed charges on Ms. Burns, Mr. Pfeiffer, myself. I thought it was a big game being played. We called Mr. Edwards up and questions can't be answered. To me, I think questions can be answered, but it's that bait and switch. I'm not fixing to vote for y'all can call it a job description, but it's a pay raise. That's the only part, pretty much, that's being changed. And we headed into the budget process. Why would I give the highest pay raise in the city for Ron Fonger and M Live to write about what the council did, and you got employees in customer service in the water department asking us for a raise? Some of them figure they ain't making no more than you make at Burger King. You got employees in the police department and fire asking for equitable raises. You got the rank and file of the city of Flint asking for raises, and then you gonna give one of the executives $150,000 and think that M Live in the Flint Journal ain't gonna write about it. I won't be a part of it. It's in bad taste. It's in bad timing. You know, I sit here under the emergency manager when the council wasn't making money. The mayor wasn't making money. And so now we had to navigate our way out of emergency manager law. We got budget hearings coming up. ARPA funds is a one-time deal. If you ain't really did a budget in a financial crunch, this $150,000 don't mean nothing to you. But I got news for you. I've been doing budgets for this city for close to 10 years. And I'm not putting a favor one executive for $150,000 compared to the hundreds of employees in the city of Flint. That's not my political headlines.
Is there any other discussion in the first round? In the first round?
Chair.
Yes, Ms. Burns.
Thank you. I don't have a question for you, Mr. Smith.
I'm not
Am
on.
I?
I don't think you're on. Hit the microphone. Oh, nope, you are, okay. I know you.
Yeah, okay. When we look at all of the departments, as we're losing two essential ones. We're losing Mr. Mike Brown coming up this Friday. We're losing Suzanne Wilcox, who has a pivotal role, and she's been in that role for many years. And I would have liked to have seen some of those departments, configured for pay. A lot of people who come and work for the city, they don't even come up here. They don't come, their contracts are not brought before city council. When we received the pay for the pay raise or the change in the pay to be included, which I know it's in the budget, my issue is, number one, is timing. Number two is when we look at the 50 city sample, was not a true sample. It was only a sample from, again, Michigan Municipal League. And it stated city administrator and city manager. City managers and city administrators have two different functions, or can have two different functions. We look at how many cities Michigan has. Michigan has 276 cities. It has 257 villages and 1,240 townships. We took a small sample, or we didn't, where they took the highest and best paid wages from the Michigan Municipal League. Everyone doesn't belong to the Michigan Municipal League. And so when we look at the average range of the entire state, which was not done, the range was not done for the entire state. It's just a sample from the Michigan Municipal League of 50 cities. And that, to me, was not enough, and nor was it accurate. A city manager can run the city without having a mayor. We have a mayor, and we have a city administrator. So having both, I mean, it should have just stated city administrator and not include city manager, which was included in the 50 samples or the pay raise, the pay scales. So for me, I'm looking at how we're losing talent. I think it would have best waited till maybe another year till we figure out who's going to be running some of these departments. I don't think that it's, I would like to see what we can do for to retain the talent that we do have. There was a $10,000 raise given about a year and a half ago for the city administrator. I would have liked to have seen at least a year. You know, let's see and get some of these jobs, get people in them. You know, and one of the things I'm really concerned about is our DPW director. And that would fall under, which I know the city administrator was the DPW director for a while, for about 6 months, and underneath that time, we have more change orders than we've ever had. Now we're left with, we cannot do restorations. It was 8,500 restorations, now it's 6,000 maybe, and then it was stated, hey, if I don't have the personnel, but not do, if I have the personnel to complete all of them, which they don't know, then we don't have the money to do the restorations. So we have to tell people who are expecting to get those restorations done and service line, where's the money coming from? This just isn't a time to me to come ask for a raise. We have to tell residents, hey, your grass hasn't been repaired, or maybe your apron of your driveway hasn't been repaired, or, you know, we have not been able to do your restoration. And we're given what we consider our upper management a raise. It's just not a good time. Let's take care of the people first and put the people in the order that they come first. And I just don't feel that this is it. I just don't. And sliding that Michigan Municipal League was not a fair sample of what salaries are when it's almost 1,800 that you're deciding to miss and only including 50 of the largest salaries. I don't agree with that. We should have taken care of the people first before we decide to give our city administrator, because restorations are coming this spring. I've got people emailing me and calling, are they going to be taken care of? They've been waiting for 3 years. And I just cannot, I will not be supporting this at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All righty, is there any other discussion in the first round? First round? First round? Okay, hearing none in the second round.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. And back to what my colleague, Councilwoman Burns said, I agree that, to me, with us losing Suzanne Wilcox within the next month, us losing Mike Brown within the next week, we should be talking about an ordinance job description of Suzanne Wilcox's position. That's what we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about the job description for Mike Brown. So whoever came up with this brilliant idea to talk about the city administrator that is not planning on leaving anytime soon that I'm aware of, why are we even talking about the job description for the city administrator when we got two people that's, so, okay, y'all randomly, the HR director said sometimes they just bring up job descriptions every now and then review them. Well, now is the time to review the job description of Suzanne Wilcox's position and look at the job description of Mike Brown, and maybe we need to look at redesigning what that looked like. I just think, and it's nothing against Clyde Edwards. He do the job that whatever he do down there. But I just think it's bad timing. And I don't want to have my back up against the wall to make a decision to work with a job description. He just told y'all this job description includes minimal and maximum. So we not setting the salary. That go to the mayor. So once y'all get to approving this tonight, that means that $99,000 to $150,000, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I'm not. I want to see and make sure that our other employees that work for the city of Flint are being paid fair too. And they have got they pay increase like they should. No, what she say, less than 2 years ago, he got $10,000 raise? No, I just can't do it, and I won't do it. Y'all can do what y'all want to do, but I'm not supporting it. I didn't support it when it first came. And it's nothing personally against him. It's just no.
Is there any other discussion in the second round?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at this agenda, and I don't want to take my time for nobody explaining it to me, but I see 23052.6 on page 2, and then on page 6, adoption and second reading, 230052. And under these goofy rules, or restrictive rules, I'm going to call them, you know, I'm not going to use my time because you can't get the business done. And then folk up here, they want to call you out of order when you do a point of information, a point of order. I've never seen such a thing like it. And when I talk about that, I'm not talking about people like Ms. Winfrey Carter and myself who've been here doing business, helping take care of the city. That's why, you know, we've been here. But you've got people been here at one point 4, 5, 6 months, now a little over a year, and they think they know. This is a political arena. Let nobody fool you, politics. Maybe Mr. Edwards and Mr. Neely told 5 council people, vote for this, and I'll take care of this in your ward. If you vote for this, I'll take care of this. When Mr. Neely ran for mayor, he lied. He said Karen Weaver shouldn't be making $125,000. If I win mayor, I'm gonna take the $90,000. That was a lie. That was something like what Santos out of New York say. It's a lying representative out of New York, just lie to lie. I got a degree. Santos said that. Neely said that. That wasn't true. I'm not going to take $125,000. Vote for me. That was a lie. That wasn't true. See, I done got of age. I call a lie a lie. Now, we're in a political arena. I'd be willing to bet you Mr. Neely and Clyde and them and told 5 council people, vote for this. Give me that raise. I'll knock down a house in your ward. Give me this. Vote for this. I'll do a cleanup this summer in your ward. And these new council people, they going for it. I'm going to get cleanups and stuff done in the first ward. If I don't, I'm going to blame Neely and Clyde anyway. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't finna let no politician slick me into giving them a raise to 2 buddies. You know, we came from Lansing to Flint, and, you know, we know how to take advantage of Flint because we got some new council people. Just call them down to the office and we can put 5 votes together, then send them back up there. That's the politics I've been seeing going on. Is no way in heck that we should be voting for a raise this close to budget time with all the other employees in City Hall needing $2 a raise. Can you imagine these employees in the morale walking around City Hall and they bragging about they 125,000, 150,000, and they want $1.50, $2 a raise. I ain't had it in years. Mr. Edwards just got a $9,000 raise. He making $100,000. When you make $100,000 and $125,000 a year, your check $5,000 every 2 weeks or so. Now, what he want to make, $6,000 or $7,000 every 2 weeks? He's not satisfied making $4,000, $5,000 every 2 weeks until we can get a handle on finances and treat everybody equally. Oh, I forgot. 5 votes. I'm going to pick up some trash in your ward. 5 votes. You can call me on the phone. I'm not giving them $150,000 on no political raise for folks in positions who tell folks what they can do for them and really ain't did it yet. They got a duty to do that with or without a raise, or leave and go work somewhere else, just ripping the city off with gouges of money in the middle of budget time.
All right, is there any other discussion in the second round? In the second round, Clerk Donahue wanted to make note of something, and then I wanted to speak.
I just wanted to point out that this is another typo on the...
Point of information.
What's your point?
Maybe it's where I'm sitting on this far end, but Ms. Donahue, Clerk Donahue, could you really speak up so I can hear what's going on?
Okay. I just wanted to point out that it is another typo under the public hearings. The ordinance itself under second reading and enactment is the right number. The public hearing number 23005.2.6 is the right hearing number. That's the number that was published in the newspaper. That is the number of the ordinance before you. The blurb that says 220.546, that's the wrong number. I was just doing a cut and paste because it was the same ordinance as before. So the ordinance, the public hearing number is right, the ordinance number under second reading and enactment is correct, and it was published correctly. So I just wanted to say that for the record.
Point of order.
Thank you. What's your point?
Point of order.
What's your point?
So am I hearing her say that the one that this motion is on, .6, is not proper?
No, the public hearing is .6. The blurb, if you look in the blurb on your agenda, there's just the wrong resolution number, or I'm sorry, the wrong ordinance number, but it's on ordinance 230052.
So when we get to...
Do you have a point of order, Mr. Mays?
Yeah, it's a point of order.
What's your point?
Now, if you want to be all formal, we can move on, but I'll figure it out. But, I mean...
What's your point?
I've been in council meetings. It ain't never been like this in 10, 20 years.
Mr. Mays, what's your point?
My question is, do we still have to vote on the second reading and adoption, or is this the vote on the second reading and adoption?
So we're in the second round of discussion on the motion to approve 230052.
Not .6.
.6 is the hearing number. It's .2. All right.
Let me, Madam Chair.
Mr. Mays, you do not have the floor.
Point of order.
What's your point?
If you look at the agenda, the hearing, you say is the .6?
Mr. Mays, the public hearings are always listed as a .6. I don't know why, that's just how they are. We've already conducted the public hearing. We are now on the motion to approve ordinance 230052. We are in our second round of discussion, and I have the floor. Okay, so I called for a second round of discussion, so I do just want to double check to make sure that nobody else wants to speak. Okay. I just want to very briefly say that, and I said this last time and I will say this again, I think that If we are to continue to attract talent, we need to make sure that we are looking at these salaries, and we need to make sure that they're competitive, and we need to make sure that we're able to retain the talent that we have, because we have so much institutional knowledge in this city. We just need to make sure that we keep that institutional knowledge. So I will be supporting this wholeheartedly. Whether or not how we feel about Mr. Edwards as the city administrator or not, we need to make sure that we are looking to the future for the city, and we need to continue to make sure that our wages reflect that. I don't think that raising this or incorporating this ordinance is going to change or influence the fact that we cannot raise wages for our firefighters, for our police officers. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I think that we have the opportunity to do both, especially as we come into budget season, because we need to make sure that we're continuing to attract talent and to retain talent, and especially investing in the young people in our community. We just had a presentation about Flint kids, and we need to make sure that we keep the talent that we have in this city, here in this city. So I will be supporting this resolution, or this ordinance, for the city administrator. So with that being said, that brings us to the vote on the motion to approve ordinance 230052. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis.
No.
Mr. Murphy?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Herkenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Mr. Mays?
No.
The vote is 3 yes, 5 no. I'm sorry, 6 no.
6 no? All right, 3 yes, 6 no, that fails. All right, so that brings us on our agenda to public speaking. I'm sorry, not roll call. Madam Clerk, will you please announce our first public speaker?
Our first speaker is Mr. R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, I'm R.L. Mitchell, and Madam Chair, to you, to the Hurley Hospital Administrative Board, that Bishop Jones said he don't know if he want to be on the part of that board or not. I don't know if it got anything to do with how much he get, because he's a minister. Because, like a concerned pastor, you don't know how to tax the churches. But just like the Michigan State woman said, the kids is the primary situation from 1 all the way down to 5 years. But we got to deal with the opera fund. But you gotta look like, she says, this city messed up because racial situation in the Hurley Hospital. People like Bishop Jones, he put me and my wife together, but he asked me, I asked him, he said, he's not sure should me and my wife get together, but he's supposed to be a man of God, so he left it up to me, and so I got married anyway. That's what, we got to deal with this racial situation at Hurley Hospital. When that man said, keep your black hands off my back, he sued the hospital, and somebody like Reverend Jones get on there, he'll switch the situation with this, we can get on with this racial situation in Michigan, like Ann Arbor for situation. For instance, like Glenn White's coaches. Look at, he looked like the split image of Mr. Viper, the split image. He ran out on them kids, and the kids took it in their own hands. But we don't want the Michigan State peoples and that professor to run out on them 5 years old all the way up there giving them computer kids. But if you want to run out on them, you ought to get up from the table right now and let Cattery get to the table and do what they can do with them roadblocks they building. Let robot control, like taking over General Motors. Because we're going to, with the election, pretty soon for the whole world can see what Flint is made out of, if you like it or not. You peoples down in Memphis, Tennessee, let them goon squad beat up a man like, ain't nobody saying nothing about it, boot camp generation and all them so-called nerds and everybody sitting around looking like Mr. Pfeiffer with his hands full, ready to walk out on Glenn Rice again. And his guy, look at him, the bulldog looking, I mean, say something now. And the school teacher right next to him but she agreed with the Michigan State, with the professor, because that's good, because we don't get our money no matter what. Poison us in Flint, think you're going to get away, in the President Obama drinking that Flint River water and talking about it's all right. Who do you think you is, Chicago, Chi-Town,
Thank you,
Elder
Mr.
Nest?
Mitchell. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Take that.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Madam Clerk, who is our next public speaker?
The next speaker is Labria Lane.
Hi, my name is Labria Lane. I'm a horticulturalist and an MSU student, and I am the owner of Mary Sam's Gardens. It's a plant nursery located in Burton. Over the past decade, I've spent thousands of hours working on my skills in agriculture. Early in my career, I worked on urban farms, at Applewood Estate for Ruth Mott Foundation, as a Food Corps service member for the Crim Fitness Foundation. And in Food Corps, I worked with neighborhood associations like Brownell Homes and on school garden projects. I was a garden educator at those schools, the Brownell Homes STEM Academy. I also was a garden educator at Potter Elementary and Pierce Elementary. After that, I continued in ag education for children and adults, and I occasionally speak at webinars as a high tunnel educator or as or teaching people how to garden with kids. I've taken those skills and co-produced a podcast called Crooked Carrots, just kind of opening people up to the experiences of women in other agricultural fields. And currently, I'm a plant producer providing plant material for grocery stores and other businesses, nonprofits, and home gardeners. I come to the city meeting today just kind of asking that as we develop new and existing garden projects throughout the year or in the future, that I be considered as a resource for plant material. I have a few pictures that were provided to the city clerk so that everyone on the city council can see some of the work that's been done in my greenhouse the last 2 years. My contact information is marysamsgardens@gmail.com. It's spelled MarySamsGardens @gmail.com. And my phone number that is a good contact for me is 810-308-2311. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, next public speaker.
Our last speaker is Dion Freeman.
Hello, good evening again, Council. My name is Dion Freeman. I live in the First Ward, and I'm a proud First Ward resident. I'm glad to be here today. There's a lot of things that I heard that I didn't realize was going on, so I'm glad I'm here. And I also picked a good day to be here because you all have been talking about blight and restoration. Labria is a young lady that I met at the farmer's market, and we just instantly connected. I'm always about what Quincy Murphy said. If our children don't have something to look out other than torn down buildings, raggedy trash everywhere, how can they be encouraged or even take pride in where they live? So I'm formulating a team of people. I have 3 companies already. Labria is one to provide plant life, have another person to do excavation and removal. And I'm working under the project, or we will be working under the project called Facelifts for Flint. So I just wanted to be a support to Labria, come out and reintroduce myself to the council, and hopefully moving forward, there will be some things that I can provide our community as a service as I connect and we all start connecting together to show each other support. That's one thing. It kind of saddens me to be here and have to hear a lot of rhetoric all the time, regardless of who it comes from. I respect the jobs that you all have as honorable council people, and I want to show respect to you all the same way that I want you all to respect me. So I'm glad to see that some of the old personal attacks and different things that used to go on in the council, I hope as I continue to come back and take more participation, that the culture of the council changed. So I hope you all, whatever way you do it, I heard my councilman, he has his opinion about you all, but I'm here as my own representative in my own ward. And so I know Eva Worthing, I've met Ms. Burns before, Ms. Jerry Winfrey Carty I know, of course Councilman Mays, my council person. I work with Ms. Lewis on her fire smoke detector operation, which I really enjoyed. I know Mr. Murphy from the community, and I've never met Ms. Priestley. So I'm glad to be here. Hopefully I can, and I'm going to contact each one of you all because I want to engage with you all because you know your neighborhood associations and things like that that are doing those work in your communities. So I want to reach out to connect to you all to find out what you all have in your own ward because it's just not a first ward thing. It's for the city first and then for the county second. So I just look forward going ahead with Faceless for Flint and all the great work that we have ahead for us to clean up our city. Thank you.
Thank you. That was our last public speaker, right, Madam Clerk? Okay. All right, with that, public speaking is now closed. Per Rule 29.9, council members have the opportunity to respond with 2 minutes. Is there any member of council who wishes to respond to our public speakers?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
Yes. First, thank all of the speakers who spoke. For the two young ladies that want to get involved, I am having a town hall meeting next Monday at 5 o'clock at Good Church on Holbrook Street, 1034 East Holbrook Street. So what we are doing in the 3rd Ward is we having a series of town hall meetings, recruiting residents to get involved, to support our cleanup that we having probably in May and June. We haven't made a tentative date. So we're going to be cleaning up vacant lots, vacant houses, residents are going to have the opportunity to clean up their own. So if you want to come and get involved, I looked at the pictures of the flowers, and I was just thinking maybe we could convert some of those vacant lots into flower gardens where we can rototill them up and plant some seeds and just make it look nice, you know, just something to enhance the beautification. So if you guys, you're more than welcome to come and just listen in to our town hall meeting and share your thoughts and just give us some advice of what you think we can do to help clean up the 3rd Ward, because my ward is so big, so I got to have small kind of pocket town hall meetings because I can't be everywhere, so I got to just move around and do town hall meetings until I make sure I cover all the areas. So if you guys want to, next Monday at 5 o'clock at Good Church on Holbrook, and then you also can hear Good Church, who did a massive cleanup around the Holbrook, Alma, York Street, Bundy area last year, and they had probably about 200-something volunteers. They doing it again this year, so you guys will be able to see what they did to even bring volunteers together. Thank you guys for coming down.
Thank you. Is there any other member of council? Dr. Lewis.
Thank you. So just in case you don't want to go to the 3rd Ward, we have the 2nd Ward community meetings every 3rd Tuesday. First one is at 9 o'clock, the second one is at 5:30. We'd love to have you, love to give you some more information on what's going on in the community. Furthermore, we are also having 3 massive cleanups, not just cleanup, but beautification sessions in the neighborhood. And so we are in the process of writing some grants and so forth, so we can go ahead and support the work, because we do know that it's great to have a big heart, but you know, when you go home, you got bills. So, so please, feel free to reach out to both of us so we can do some great things in our city.
Thank you. Is there any other member of council who wishes to respond?
Madam Chair.
Yep.
Thank you for all speakers. RL, I love you. Love their passion. Love your passion, buddy. Thank all speakers for coming and spending your time with us this evening. I also want to take a moment to congratulate the Powers hockey team on the first state championship for a hockey team in Genesee County. So I think they deserve, They deserve a round of applause, and it's just real, it's good to know something is good coming out of the community, and hopefully we can have many more championships to come, and that's it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other member of council wish to respond?
Madam Chair.
I see a couple moving over here. I locked eyes with Ms. Burns. Did you want it? Okay, but then I heard Ms. Winfrey Carter, but then I also heard Ms. Priestley. So Ms. Winfrey Carter, Ms. Winfrey Carter, Ms. Burns, then Ms. Priestley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I would like to thank all of the public speakers. Thank you for being engaged in the process. Thank you for bringing your thoughts, concerns, and insight before council. I was thinking about the name, Deanna. I love your name, Facelift for Flint. I love that. We definitely need a facelift here in the city of Flint. Please feel free to call me. I look forward to speaking with you. Anything you need, you know that I'll be willing to help. And thank you, young lady. I didn't get your name, but thank you for coming forth. I look forward to working with you as well. You can always contact me at area code 810-397-3621, and I'll be more than willing to work with you on anything that you need done. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Have a great day.
You're not leaving us, are you? Okay. Just have a great night. Ms. Burns and then Ms. Burns and then Ms. Priestley.
Okay.
Then Ms. Priestley.
No, she gave
Oh,
it to
okay.
me.
All right.
She gave it to me. So, for those of people who know me, they know I'm a big gardener. I have a canning garden at my sister's every year. I have a small eating garden at my own home, and flowers galore. So you spoke to my heart. And I am really hoping to get some projects going in the 4th Ward to beautify it. We need flowers around the city. Nothing makes me happier than to look at my flowers. I don't care how much I spend. Yeah, I do. But you know, I looked up your address. I know where you are. But there are going to be opportunities to provide services and materials for projects. What I would like you guys to really pay attention to is what projects are approved through the ARPA committee and that come to council for ARPA dollars that maybe you can assist with. I don't know that there are projects that you can actually go out and apply for at this point, but there will be projects that maybe you can get and supply product and soil, and I need compost. So thank you very much, and like I said, you've spoken to my heart, and I want you guys to stay in touch with me too. Thank you.
Awesome. Ms. Burns.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to all the speakers for taking your time. This is your council chambers, and we have renovations that'll be on the way. And maybe I won't have a mic that looks like Wham or W3 Soul. So, but these flowers are beautiful. They're hardy. And, you know, we talk about beautifying the neighborhood. Neighborhoods need that. The first year I never planted anything was last year because I didn't have time. But I have 3 projects that are coming. Actually, I had 2 more because in my ward, I have some really great residents. I will be reaching out to you, and it's funny because Councilman Jerry Winfrey Carter was like, I need her at my house. So there is such a need, and I know that the public can't see your flowers and how hardy and colorful that they are. I can't keep a plastic plant alive, so I did good with my children. That was about it. So I will be reaching out to you because it's important. Flowers make you smile, and they make you feel good when you see beautiful gardens. And these are some beautiful gardens, and the petunias, and it's nice to see that. So thank y'all for coming in, and I will be reaching out to you. Even if you maybe teach like a garden class to show people how to garden. People need that. We need some feel-good things to happen in this city. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there any other member of council who wishes to respond to the public? I think it's almost everybody. All righty. Well, then I will take this time. I want to say thank you, yes, to all of the public speakers. I also want to say, Ms. Lane, thank you so much for your service. I am also a fellow AmeriCorps alum, which I know is a different branch of service. But I want to say thank you. I know that that job is one of those jobs that I don't think a lot of people realize how many AmeriCorps members we actually have in the city of Flint. And so that's actually a great shameless plug for the fact that this week is AmeriCorps Week. National service with AmeriCorps. It truly changed my life, and I've made some of my best friends through AmeriCorps, and you know, it is truly like why I'm here. So really, really excited. Always love being able to talk to fellow AmeriCorps service alums. So I want to say thank you for that. And thank you guys for coming out. Much appreciated. So, all right. Okay. And with that, council response is now closed. And so that takes us down to our first separation of the evening, which was separated by Mr. Pfeiffer for resolution 230063.
Through you to Mr. Mike Brown, please.
I need a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to approve 230063.
Is there a second?
Support.
It has been moved and properly supported. Now you can call Mike Brown.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Mike Brown.
He's got aloha.
I'm just celebrating here. I'm not going to Hawaii again for a while.
Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
So with this change order, and did you think that you were going to get away scot-free on your last?
No, I knew
council
somebody
meeting?
would attack.
City council meeting? No, we're going to run you through the ringers, sir. Last one. So why do we have a change order for labor increase before they actually started any work?
Because when we did this originally, it was an estimate by the engineer. Should have my engineer up here.
No, I want you, sir.
Okay. Well, there was an estimate by the engineer on what we did for the MDOT of, this is the estimate? Okay, the original estimate was $5,117,000 was the engineering estimate. So we went through with that, put it out for bid, and then when bids all came back, there's a higher number, and we have to pay that higher number from the time that they did it 2 years ago or a year ago? A year and a half ago when we did the original numbers in engineering to the time that it was bid. This last year, as you know, prices have gone up everywhere.
So when they submitted the bid, was there no price guarantee for X amount of time? Or is this delay because of us? How, like, I just want to clarify how we got to this point.
Okay. This, from what I understand, this was delayed because when the original numbers came in a year and a half ago, when we tried to start all of this, then because of other things being put in front of it, along with MDOT, we came to this point, finally bid it out. When we bid it out, then the actual number was higher, and so we have to pay that higher amount for labor.
So because this is MDOT,
It's an MDOT project, we have to do what they tell us, even though we're paying part of it, they're paying a good part of it too.
what percentage are we paying versus they're paying? Through you to, Madam Chair, to Mr. City Engineer.
Mark Harder, Mr. Mark Harder.
Yeah.
Or Mark
Adis.
Dang it, wrong Mark.
The federal portion is $2,308,404.
So the balance of that is in our
Yes.
duty? So we're at their mercy, right? We have to?
Correct. To get it done, we have two choices. We can either not do the project
Yeah.
or do the project.
So is there, I know that they're slated to schedule to start this. Is this a final that we're not going to, obviously, if they run into anything during the project, but Is there any more cost implications that could be headed our way before they get started?
Water main would probably be the only thing.
Besides the water main, I think is a little different, but,
Again, I can't guarantee we won't hit something that costs us more money.
right, during the project, but,
Yeah, there shouldn't be any other raises before that.
okay.
This is just an adjustment. We were hoping to get the water main sooner, so we put them both give you both of them at the same time.
Okay. I know Mr. Brown reached out to me about the water main. Do we have a status on that, Mr. Brown? Aloha means goodbye?
Well, originally, before I did go on my vacation that I was on 2 weeks ago, I'd reached out to everybody in council and left a message in regards to when I made phone calls to the state back when we did Miller Road.
Yep.
And we were talking about still doing Saginaw. I was told that there wasn't, we couldn't use wind fund money because there wasn't an environmental case study done on it. From the person I talked to, they may have gone back and looked and found something else, because when Mr. Edwards called up and talked to them about seeing about using wind fund, they said, yes, there was an environmental study done
So
X
real
number of
quick,
years
before
ago.
before my time expires, are we trying to use wind funds on Saginaw Street?
Yes, we're trying to use wind funds currently for Saginaw Street for the water main, so it
Thank
won't
you.
be coming out of ARPA.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay, was there any, so we're not going to bring forth the resolution for the water main.
For ARPA.
For ARPA, we're waiting. Oh, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. We are waiting to see if we can use the wind money? Is that what
Through the president to you. Yes, we're trying to use wind money for it. We're trying to get everything taken care of in regards to the bid that we had to send out, how it has to be set up for the state, et cetera. We have to go through all their hoops. We are currently doing that to try to get a bid in, and once the bids are in, then we'll take probably the lower of those two, and go forward with it with wind money.
So you think that will be okay, that the wind money will work?
The state, since the state had the environmental impact study because I guess before my time, Saginaw was in to get done, then they pulled it, then they put it back in, then they pulled it out again before I got here. And so I did not know that there had been an environmental study done on it that came to light after I had left for vacation. And so now we're trying to push our way to get that done.
Oh, good. Well, then that frees up some more ARPA money.
Correct.
Excited about that. All right, that was my question, and he ran out of time, but then I got some more. Is there any other questions we need to ask about that?
Yeah, Madam Chair. Say what?
Worthing still has the floor.
Wait, do we have wind funds? We have wind funds available to do this?
We think there will be enough wind funds available to do that, yes.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Mays.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, this is about my 10th year sitting here, and seemed like I can remember some major work on Saginaw with them bricks. Do you know when the last time those bricks was done?
I have to turn that over to my engineer. He has more of the background.
Before you turn it over to him,
Okay.
have you spoke on what that is around your neck? Yeah,
These?
yeah.
These were our two plastic lays.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah, because you getting ready to retire again. You putting to lead the city, correct?
Correct. I'm celebrating my last time to have to be in front of council.
And I already knew what that was around your neck. That's just my way of leading in to say, good job well done.
Well, thank you.
When we had the hearing, you was one of the most honest people in the hearing for me, as you talked about your work in DPW. Now, I heard somebody call my name. Was that you, Ms. Herkenroth? Did somebody say Mr. Mays when I was?
I said Mr. Mitchell, not Mr. Mays.
Say what?
I did not say your name, no.
Oh, okay, then I'm hearing stuff. But you were most honest during those hearings, and that's a rare quality in City Hall for some folks. And so I congratulate you. I'm kind of hating to see you go. When I find an honest, straight-up person talking to me under oath in a hearing on that serious type of matter, that was amazing. So back to the question, you say you're going to turn it over to him. I remember some work being done on those bricks, and I want to know how long ago was that? Do you recall?
There was some minor work done in, I believe, the 70s.
In the 70s? Oh, no. I wasn't elected to November 2013.
There hasn't been any major work on it since.
It was some work on replacement of bricks, I can assure you. You might not know it, but I do.
There was some work on bricks when we've had water mains and other breaks, and other work that has been done on Saginaw Street. So some of the bricks were taken out, the road was brought back up, and the old bricks put back into place.
And some of that bricks was replaced with some red pavement type stuff.
That was because of water main breaks.
Yeah, so I can recall some activity. Now, y'all saying this is going to be unlike any of that minor stuff. You want to do major stuff, and you want to do infrastructure up under the ground.
Right, we're planning on doing the water main. We are going to reline the sewer. That will make that good for 50, 70 years. All the storms are being redone because of this project. All of the street itself, the major part of the street, they'll dig it up, they'll recompact it.
Now, what made y'all make that decision?
It came up for MDOT, through our MDOT program, and they agreed to that street needs to be repaired from the river up to Court Street. That's what it was put.
Now, what I'm concerned about is this, and I don't know how I'm gonna vote on this. I'll let some of them do it, but when I was president, one of the first projects I supported, I wouldn't do it now. Mr. Piper and them wanted Miller Road done like that. With the way he done double-crossed and stabbed and didn't vote for North End projects, particularly the North Flint Food Market, and right or wrong, I just wouldn't even do it. Now here we go downtown. I want to see, to get me back in the swing of this, I want to see what y'all going to do on the far north side as it relates to the areas in which I and others represent with black folks. Miller Road, downtown, it's look like we doing infrastructure and pavement for certain folks. I want to see when we get into them 97% black areas like what I represent, because it didn't happen on DuPont from Carpenter to Pearson. It ain't really happened. I'm glad to hear that you pulling back your request for the ARPA funds. I'll wait, and if the time go out, I'll just wait for the second round. I just give you accolades for how you operating, and you talking to somebody else while I'm trying to talk to you. 7 seconds left. I'll wait.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Hey.
I had to ask a question.
I understand.
Because I thought you were going to ask
We got
one, too.
another round with makeup. I guess we do. Under these goofy rules, you might have messed up some valuable time. We'll see.
Alrighty. All right, is there any other
Madam Chair?
discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
I have just a few quick questions, and you're going to be missed. And happy second retirement from the city.
Correct.
Okay. How much do we have in wind funds?
I don't have that number right with me because I didn't look at it. I didn't even think about that as a question. But based on what we're seeing so far, there are monies coming in from different projects that didn't finish yet, but they're under budget from what the original numbers were, and we think that'll be put together enough to come up for the amount of money that we're going to need for this.
Okay, so
Plus, I do not think, I mean, as much as we'd like to, I don't think that we will spend the amount of money we have set currently for Lakeshore for the restorations. I think we're going to find that we're going to end up being under that from what I've seen so far, and that's why I'm making that determination.
Okay. And when is the start date? Is there a start date and estimated completion date? Because this is a huge project.
The start date was in April. 2 years. Pardon me? 2 years and 2 years to finish.
Oh, wow.
Because this is this is a different type of project, because we have to go from one intersection to the next street, and we have to do everything underneath, everything all the way up, make sure the water main's chlorinated, et cetera, tested, pressurized, chlorinated, 2-day process. Then they can put the road on top of it, they'll get all that done, then they'll go to the next section. So, and then when we come to the crim and bikes on the bricks and other things that'll happen in the summer, they will stop, put a stoppage, finish up wherever they are a week or so before, and then all of our painting and that will go down for DPW. For the crim, we'll then go to the bikes on the bricks. That won't be? Okay. Okay. But the major things that'll go on downtown, the face of Flint, will will go, and then they'll start back on it.
So we're looking at August will be, I think, the crim is August, bikes on the bricks, and back to the bricks.
Back to the bricks, sorry.
So all of those are, I think they're all like back to
back.
Yeah, so, okay. And when were the bricks installed?
Well, they've been installed, will be the third time.
So I know Flint
The
is
first
like
one was back in-
1855, we were established. Do
Yeah,
we
back
know-
when the trolleys were here. 1903 was the first one. Then in the
Okay.
40s, when the trolleys were taken out, no, 30, I said about 40. 35, sorry, I was off. The trolleys were removed and new bricks were put down, and you can actually see them in pictures because they're going in one direction on one, and then with the trolley, and then the newer bricks are going in perpendicular to them.
Well, the bricks have withstood asphalt and everything else. I mean, they have withstood. And back to the bricks, we're known for the bricks. It's nostalgic. It doesn't feel real good riding on them sometimes, but when you go down by, it's the Hyatt, used to be the Radisson. I don't even know what the name of it is now. You got that dip that you have to slow. So I think people will be happy. The what? It's a ramp. It really is. So it will be nice to, to keep something. It's nostalgic, and Flint is known for that. And then to smooth it out, so that the crim, which is huge, and back to the bricks, and then also bikes on the bricks, and then just having, the downtown period. I believe in having a thriving downtown. And it's important that we take care of downtown, along with starting to see we need to get around town. But downtown is our nucleus, and it's important. There's a lot that's going on down there. It'd be nice to have those bricks, so when you have the classic cars ride, and you get as smooth a ride as possible on bricks. I want to wish you a very happy retirement, and thank you for your service to the city. A happy second retirement. And you have always been very honest and forward and very helpful. And I appreciate that. And in your department that you're over, you've always been helpful, very helpful.
Thank you.
And you will be missed.
And I'd like to just say one thing. To me, I'm a lifelong resident. I was born here in Flint. I've spent over 2/3 of my years here in Flint. And to me, the bricks are the face of Flint.
Yeah.
To me, and that's why I was pushing so hard to even try to get ARPA to do it. I wanted to have that done before I left, and now we have wind funds that are going to do it. Now, it won't be in line until after I do leave, but I think it's in good hands, and it will be taken care of.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion in the first round? Yes.
I want to second everybody. Happy retirement.
Thank you.
You and I've had discussion. I'm glad you're able to go when you are. And, I think that you have been a great asset to this city. I have no questions about the resolution, but I wanted to wish you a happy retirement publicly.
Thank you.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Congratulations on your last city council meeting. I am sitting here typing a whole list of streets that need to be repaid for you, so I got a big, long, about 10 to-do lists for you, so I'm just here to let you know that you will not go down without having something to do for Councilman Murphy. But congratulations, you've been doing a great job. You always was responding to me when I called you about different things. We still didn't figure out that situation over there on Selby Street with Eagle Ridge, with that pond and that water and all of that stuff that's coming from Graceland Cemetery that got that retainer pond and all of that stuff. That still is a situation when it rains, it's just a mess. But anyways, do you guys know when the last time the pipes been replaced, or have they been replaced on North Saginaw Street going to the different businesses? Because I'm sure those pipes have to be very old and need to be replaced as far as the service lines going from the commercial businesses to the street. So is there any plans to upgrade those service lines while y'all have the ground tore up?
Yes, the ones that are lead or galvanized,
Yes.
we're going to get replaced up into the building.
Yes.
And then it'll be up to the owner to do it past that point, but get it up into the building so that they have new all the way through, so no one will tear that up again if anything happens. If we find any problems, we'll deal with those as we come up. But we're trying to get everything so that everything outside of the street, all the way up into the buildings is new.
Okay.
That, I don't, just to the building or just inside it, going further than that because their meters,
So
on
is
the
that-
opposite
is that
side,
already-
that's up to the owner.
Is that already funded, or do you guys?
That money is what we asked, there's set-asides in the contract that we've asked for the water main for that.
And also, can y'all do me a big favor? Y'all turn your mics off, close your ears. If y'all can, while y'all tearing up the street, can y'all take the bulldozers and tear down those meters? Don't look, don't hear, y'all ain't hear me, y'all ain't heard me say that. Oh, let me turn my mic off. Anyways, it's awful.
Yeah,
For
DDA,
real.
I think you need to talk about the DDA about that one, unfortunately.
Well, we need to make sure DDA on it, because, for real. It makes no sense to bring that much money down here, and you got some raggedy,
All right, we
don't
know
get mad.
we know the meters, but let's stick to the
You
main.
got some mad, janky,
We know the meters, let's stick to the
parking
main.
meters. It's mad. It's bad. My other pieces, I sent you an email, Mike Brown, probably some months ago when the state was here and they was telling me about these grants, like the $1 million grant for the St. John thing. They also sent me an email about a grant that I forwarded to you. I think I forwarded to you and Suzanne Wilcox about possibly applying for some funding to help. I think it was up to $5 million or something.
For the dam grant?
Did
Yeah,
you
we
look at that?
applied for the dam grants.
Yeah.
We received one, and that was the one to remove the Utah dam.
So y'all did apply?
So, and then we did we got a preliminary, yes.
Okay.
We've done all the other legwork, sent it back to the state. We're waiting to get their okay to start on it.
So the grant that I emailed to you guys, y'all was able to look at
That was-
it
yeah.
and apply?
Point of information, request for information.
What's
through
your
you,
point?
Mr. Brown. Is this Utah Dam on Saginaw Street dealing with these bricks?
No. This is dealing up in the St. John area.
Yes.
Miss- Let's try to stay germane for the bricks.
Thank you. Yes. I thank you so much. I have no further questions. Enjoy your retirement and get Kool-Aid wasted.
Is there any other discussion in the first round?
Yes, Madam
Go ahead.
Chair. Mr. Brown, I just want to congratulate you, my fellow chemistry major, on your retirement. It was really nice working with you. Job well done. And just enjoy your retirement. Kick
gonna
back. Go to Hawaii. Did you go to Hawaii?
I did already.
Oh, right. Well,
I'm
go
planning a
back.
second trip in the future.
Go back. And, you know, make sure you just enjoy your family during your retirement and take plenty of trips.
Thank you.
Thank
Gonna
you,
try.
Madam Chair.
All right. Any other discussion first round? I think that was everybody except for me.
That was everybody.
Okay. All right. In the second round.
Madam Chair.
Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes. You know, I separated this because as a constituent of the 8th Ward, I figured you would appreciate the sarcasm and making you come forward and speak of this matter. And of course, all the colleagues want to give you a good send-off. So I appreciate you being a good sport up here today. I also congratulate you and appreciate all the hard work and dedication that you've shown just myself in the little bit of time that I've been here. So I do appreciate that, and those residents of the city of Flint appreciate that. Getting back to the bricks real quick, is it you or Mr. Adis? Can you explain where the bricks are going to stop and end, where stamped concrete is going to start and end? What there's sidewalks improvement? Can you just give the community an overall of what is going to actually happen? What's going to be replaced with what, and so on and so forth?
We were allowed through the historical people, they allowed us to do stamped concrete in all the intersections.
So the existing bricks are going to be used in the main
road.
thoroughfares or whatever we want to
Right.
call them. Stamped concrete will be the intersection. Obviously, it'll be the same color as the bricks.
Yes, we have to match them as best we can.
Now, Mr. Brown mentioned potentially when the water main gets repaired, are we going to have to replace and repair sidewalks along?
Part of the money that's in this is to replace the sidewalks. The sidewalks are in pretty bad shape. If you ever walk down there, you're got different lifts as you walk down.
So is there going to be notification to the businesses on Saginaw
Yes,
Street?
I've had several meetings with them. Our engineering firm has had several meetings. I was at a town hall or the downtown meeting, I think it was a week or so back.
And who's our engineering on this?
Who's the what?
Who's the engineering?
Wade Trim is the engineer.
Wade Trim's the engineering, okay. I think that's all I have. When we come back to the bricks and stuff, are they going to completely remove all the barriers and cones and everything and basically?
Yes.
So
That is the plan.
Okay, so there won't be
We want them to be stopped by the end of July and not start up until after.
So there won't be a reduced lane or nothing like that? People won't have to walk through dirt?
Part of the contract is they have to complete the sections and have everything ready by, before August. They can't leave.
And that includes the timeline for the potential water main?
That includes the timeline for the water main.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both for coming and speaking, and hope to see you around town, Mr. Brown. I yield the balance of my time.
All right. Is there any other member of
Yeah,
council?
Madam
in
Chair.
Second round, go ahead, Mr. Mace.
If I've got the floor, this is change order number 1. I'm going to predict that before this project is finished, we'll see a change order number 2. Now, that's my prediction today, January, February, March. Change order number 1, the work down on Saginaw Street. I'm going to predict we'll see a change order number 2. Let's see if I'm right. Nobody might remember it. It might come. It'll be all kind of communications. $3.4 million project. I'm going to let my colleagues vote for it, celebrate, but I got a group of people who always vote for me and ask me about service in the neighborhoods and on the north side versus downtown in Miller Road. I've proved that I can support Miller Road. I've proved I can support downtown. I've supported many projects downtown, the Capitol Theater remodeling, Mott Culinary Center, so forth and so on, just to name two. I don't have to support every project downtown and on Miller Road and not fuss and fight for Welch Street, Pearson Road, DuPont, and I'm gonna do it. I hear it's wind funds versus ARPA funds, but wind funds started out dealing with water projects. We fought for wind funds when we was trying to decide whether we used the Karagandhi pipeline that was built with a fraudulent bond versus the Great Lakes Water Authority. I'm very familiar with wind funds. Now I hear about leftover wind funds not going to DuPont Street, not going to that pothole in the middle of Holmes Street by Hasselbrink. Right now they're asking me about that dip. It's a sewer with cones sitting around it right on Holmes and Sally Court. And his folk want me to vote $3.4 million, $3 million change orders to Miller Road, damn near $10 million for Miller Road and downtown, and we can't get $1 million on the north side neighborhoods. And some of my colleagues, they ain't in the fight. I can imagine Pfeiffer and some of them ain't in it. I can't imagine Quincy Murphy, Liddell Lewis, and others ain't in it, because they giggly, laughing, happy. But I'm here working seriously. And I ain't giggling, because when it come election time and you ain't serviced, we did Fleming Road, but wasn't no infrastructure under the ground done on Fleming Road. We did DuPont. I fought for that, Fleming and DuPont, but wasn't no infrastructure under the ground did on DuPont. We giving these folks on Miller Road in downtown full service. We giving the north end half service, and I ain't giggling. What I'm doing, I'm gonna fight for equity. And I'm gonna not vote on these projects coming one after another for certain parts of town, and you can't get 5 and 6 votes for the part of town that we live in, the neighborhoods, the black folk. Just as important as streets frequented by more the white population. Now, black folks drive on Miller Road, black folks drive on downtown. But if people know Flint and know the racial divide and the voting patterns, you would know what I'm saying. For those who don't know the racial divide and the neighborhoods and the voting patterns, they're going, they're gonna maze again. You doggone right, and again and again. That's why I'm on 10. Some folks gone. They didn't fight for their neighborhoods. Some folks here gonna be gone, because they too giggly with other folks, in my opinion. And I got the right to my political opinion. I done seen and looked for years.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Your time is up. Is there any other discussion in the second round? Second round?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to vote for the Saginaw project, Saginaw Street project, but it is my hope that, and I know the engineers spoke on Welch Street, and I think Mr. Brown spoke on Welch Street a couple of weeks ago as well. Welch Street really needs to be repaved, ASAP. And also some other streets, and I was driving down Miller Road, and unfortunately, there's already a big pothole in the middle of Miller Road. Did you guys know that? Whereas the concrete broke up, and Mr. Brown, through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Brown, did you know that?
Through Madam Chair to Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, yes, we actually had to have the company come out because the sewer lines were still buried because they haven't finished the final raise and the final course on there. They were to do that this spring. We ended up with a sewage backup that was backing up into people's basements. So we had to have those areas found by them, by the company. We dug them up. They are going to repair that because they left it the way it was. They'll be repairing that, bringing those up to grade when they get into when we get our asphalt plants open.
Okay.
But yes, we have those, but we had to do that to relieve because we had a sewer that we couldn't get to.
Oh,
And we had to
okay.
go through in jet. The other thing is that Mr. Mays talked about, if I have permission to talk still?
Go ahead.
We still have our northwest water main that has to be completed. We took that out of the wind fund. We actually have grant money coming this year for first half of it, and we're hoping to get grant money for the second half, and that's the water main to connect from the water plant all the way to the west side and all the way down south through DuPont. So there's
Okay.
2 sections there we're still going to do. That's upcoming. Part of it will be in 23, 24, and then we're going to ask for more monies for 24, 25.
Okay.
Just so
Okay.
you know that too.
And then also another area right there in my ward is Grand Traverse, right there by the bridge, Grand Traverse and Kersley. That's terrible. I mean, if you're driving right there at that intersection, you can really mess up your shocks in your car. So when is that gonna happen?
I'll let Mark on that one.
I have permission?
Yes, through,
Okay.
Madam Chair, through you.
We are applying for, Grand Traverse is one of the bridges we're applying for, and that should eliminate that. If we get it, it'll be about, even if we get it this year, it'll be about 2 to 3 years before we'll be redoing the bridge.
Okay. And then, I'm looking at all the streets. Mason is terrible. All the way from downtown, all the way down to Pasadena. Mason is just terrible. I mean, Mackin Road, I'm naming off all the streets. We need to make a list, and we need to make sure that all of the streets in this city get repaved. So, but I do understand the need for the bricks to be, redone for downtown. I mean, because I hate driving on Saginaw Street. I actually go a different way as opposed to driving straight down Saginaw Street. So, but that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Madam Chair. You have something to say, Mr. Brown, before my 45 minutes?
Through the chair to
45
you.
seconds.
Yes, like Welch Street, we know that it's bad. We're going to do a resurface on that.
Okay.
The rest of the streets in the city of Flint, we follow what's called PACER. That's a overall view of the streets, and the ones with the lowest numbers are the ones that we do first to take out and do resurfacing. And then the main ones from MDOT, when we're allowed, we do those with MDOT, and we're going to go forward with it. Even in my absence, that's what is set up. That's what's been done before, and we're going to try to work and get as many done as possible. There's only so many dollars and so much time, but we're going to do the best we can.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, Mr. Murphy, did you want the
Thank you
floor?
so much. And just to the public, that my colleague in the first ward said that we'd be giggling and laughing. Quincy
Point of
Murphy-
order.
Point.
I'm waiting for the clock because I didn't know he had the floor. I thought he just was
Mr.
talking.
Murphy has the floor.
Thank
Proceed.
you so much. To the public that's heard my colleagues say that we be giggling and laughing, these projects, such as the project down here on North Saginaw and all projects, even the Miller Road projects, is important to me. I take my job serious, despite what other people may think about me. So The project on North Saginaw, the Pacers, is there a possibility that you can give either me and my colleagues who would like a copy of that data for the Pacers so that we can see what that looked like?
We'll see what we can do.
Okay, thank you. Also, for the North Saginaw Street project, for the residents that's coming downtown and need to park, is y'all gonna have a reserved location for them to park prior to while y'all doing the construction?
No, when we're doing construction on that section of street, there's going to be no availability of parking at all on that street because we're going, all the bricks, the sidewalks are all going to have to be redone.
No, I'm saying is y'all gonna have signage up to redirect
Yes.
residents to
We'll have signage
go.
up to direct people around that in both directions and make sure that people have the ability to hopefully park in a different spot there.
Okay.
But I
all right.
can't open a spot, we can't open any parking, but the other parking that's around will be available.
And then to the listening audience and to the residents, I support projects in the city of Flint. I was just with Councilwoman Worthy at a project in her ward on Atherton and South Saginaw Street. So I support other people's projects, and I understand you brought up the infrastructure, the work that needs to get done with the pipe replacement coming from the water treatment plant. Do you have that direction of street where it's going to go? I think one of them is Bishop Street going to DuPont. Do you have that area where the pipe is going to
I don't
go?
have it right with me, but yes, we have it, and it goes again from the water plant across, up Pearson, down Bishop, et cetera. I mean, it's a long loop that goes down along the whole
'Cause I think it's on
northwest
Iroquois-
side.
I think it's on Iroquois or something. I remember
Iroquois
looking
has
at it
main on it also,
down the street. Yeah.
the major main, yes.
Down Bishop Street. So when y'all do those projects, y'all gonna tear up the entire street?
That's going to tear up at least part of that street, yes.
Will y'all do sidewalks over there when y'all do that, or y'all just go do the streets? Because I see a lot of the, y'all did Miller Road, and when y'all did Miller Road, y'all did sidewalks. When y'all do Saginaw, y'all doing sidewalks. Wouldn't it make sense that when you guys get ready to do that over on the north side of Flint, that y'all would add the sidewalks? I mean, when you look at it, our sidewalks is tore up to the floor up. So if y'all can, if you ain't, I would like to try to see if y'all, when y'all bring a change order and all that stuff, that y'all bring a change order to make sure that y'all do the sidewalks over there while y'all tearing
We're
the
looking for
streets up.
grant money for that also.
Okay.
For areas in the city to make it cheaper for the 50/50 people, instead of 50/50, to lower that and to have others.
So, hold on. So we gonna have to pay a percentage for the sidewalks when
That's-
y'all do the infrastructure down there on our side of town, but when y'all come down here, you telling me that y'all go do some sidewalks and the businesses ain't gotta pay for it? Make it make sense.
When a full street construction is done, it includes sidewalks.
Okay.
If we're just doing the water main, even though we're doing some street, it's not a full MDOT project.
Okay.
So we don't have all the monies as would be in the MDOT project. That's why they do streets, they do the gutter pans, they do the storm. And so but we have to do the larger two. We have to do the water main and the sewer.
Well, I will hope when we get down to that my colleagues, we could find some money within the community development block grant dollars for sidewalks to do the sidewalks in the residents, because it makes sense to kill two birds in one stone. Thank you very much, and congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
All right.
Madam
Anyone else in the
Chair?
second round? Ms. Worthing.
I have a question that's unrelated, but I wanted to ask before you go. Consumers has come down my street and tore everything up. Sidewalks are missing like every other one. Are they responsible?
Yes.
To pay for that?
Yes, and they
fix
will
it?
be doing sidewalk restoration in your area this coming spring.
Oh, good.
So
'Cause
they
it's
got it all
a
done, and now they come back. They did the same thing in my subdivision a year ago.
Okay.
And I have 7 different squares because of all my neighbors are hooked up to where my house is where their main is,
Okay.
so.
I do want to make sure that we are staying as germane as possible.
That was my really only question. And also, congratulations on your retirement. I love your festive outfit.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion, second round? Second round? Okay, well, I will speak, and I will also say, thank you so much, Mr. Brown, for your service to the city. Thank you for all of the work that you've done, for answering questions, and retirement well-deserved. The only thing that I think that I would even have to add to this conversation is we've talked a lot about the pacer testing and making sure that we are equitably investing in our city to make sure that the roads are drivable for everybody. So my question is there a department plan, like a 5-year plan for the mapping of the anticipated roads that we want to hit and when?
We have some, but I can't say it's a 5-year plan. We take a look at what Pacer comes back, and then we make that determination, usually doing the 1s and 2s
Yeah.
from Pacer.
Or is that pacer
And then,
test
and then
done
we try to,
annually?
and then we also try to take a look at that and distribute it throughout all the different wards. So it's not,
Is the pacer test done annually? Semi-annually?
semi,
Okay.
every other.
Okay.
And that gives us our 2 years of running.
Yeah. Who's going to be your replacement while you're enjoying retirement?
Right now, my boss, Mr. Edwards, will be
Okay.
taking up
So the
my
reason,
duties.
So thank you. So the reason why I asked that is because one of the things that I think, I've talked a lot about making sure that we're thinking about, Flint's future and everything like that. I think that as we continue to go forward, if we could have some sort of 5-year strategy or even a 10-year strategy to figure out the best way to tackle all of these roads, coupling them and layering them with, various infrastructure dollars that we know we're going to get, especially IIJA dollars. If we can figure out a way to be able to synthesize that and present that to community members, I think that'd be really helpful, especially because we know that there are a number of neighborhood streets, for example, Calumet, that got destroyed when we replaced the water main. And I want to say thank you, especially to Mr. McGaha for getting a pacer test down there. So I think that if we try to look at it with more of that long-term vision, and this is obviously because you're done on Friday, this is just me advocating. If we can think about that long-term vision for how we fix our infrastructure in the city, I think could be helpful. I know that the master plan has done a number of things, but if we can maybe get a little bit more detailed based off of the roads, sewer, what have you, I think that could be helpful. I know it's your last 4 days, so this is probably not a problem for you, and I wouldn't expect you to pick that up the last 4 days, but just something to consider. I hope that my colleagues also think that that's something that we should consider as well. So with that, I will save the rest of my time to simply say thank you for your service. Thank you for coming out of retirement. Hopefully, and don't take this the wrong way, we don't see you come out of retirement again. You deserve it. You deserve to enjoy time with your family. And I hope that you have a great time wherever you go, whether that may be Hawaii or somewhere else. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Point of information.
What's your point?
He said, thank you. My question, Mr. Brown, have they say who's going to replace you with the license? Don't you have a special license that others don't have?
There's still a search going for that.
A search?
Yep, there's a search going through that through the MML, and people have applied to the city. It is open on the city website also.
Okay, thank you. All righty, so that brings us to the vote on the motion to approve Resolution 230063. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Herkenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Mr. Mays?
I abstain until we get some of them raggedy north side streets fixed.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention.
8 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention. And that motion passes. All right, and we have our next separation of the evening, which was separated by Councilman Murphy for Resolution 230077. Do you have a motion?
Yes, I would like to move for approval for this motion dealing with the St. John renaming of the city park from West Boulevard Park to St. John Street Neighborhood Memorial Park.
Is there a second?
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Okay. I was just looking at the St. John Street Neighborhood Memorial Park. It's so long, but I'm in agreement with this. We're not changing any of the name of the street at all. We're just only changing the name of the park, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right, I'm fine with that. All right.
All right, is there any other discussion?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
When the St. John project came before us, you know, I tried to up the amount. I tried to up the amount of money, I think from 500,000 to $1 million. I'm gonna continue to try to up the amount. I've been watching this St. John project. I've even known St. John when we stayed over there. It was like Black Wall Street. And I don't want St. John and the Memorial Park or the street name to shortchange black folks. I might sound like a broken record, but my days is probably numbered here in the city of Flint and in life. And I got the right to advocate strongly for black folks. Black folks done been through a lot. They went through a lot in the St. John area where we were living good, and then they purposely ran 475 through there. They do that all the time, to break up black folks' businesses and community. It was like a little Black Wall Street in this GM town. And I see people jockeying from Mr. Neely's office to up here with Mr. Murphy and others, jockeying on a variety of issues. And then I hear them talk about the councilman.
I'm not sure the renaming of the St. John Memorial Park got anything to do with my colleague talking about me jockeying. Jockeying ain't got nothing to do with this resolution,
Okay.
and he needs to keep my name out his mouth.
Point well taken. Mr. Mays, please state your main to the resolution.
Let me say this, Ms. Herkenrode. I'm going to put his name, no, I don't even really want it close to his name in my mouth. That's a figure of speech. I'm going to say his name. I'm going to say his name. I'm going to say Floyd McCree's name. I'm going to say Woodrow Stanley, and going to say your name and his name, but in a different vein. Who do you think you is telling me, agreeing with him, that not say his name? When he said the councilman in the first ward, he was talking about me.
Mr. Mays, I asked you to state your
Look,
name.
Ms. Herkenrode,
Mr. Mays, you are out of order.
Beg your pardon?
You are out of order. Mr. Mays, please state your main.
Okay, well, let me say this in order. I got 8-9 million people on TikTok. I don't have to sit here and be treated discriminatorily. I'll go on TikTok and talk about you and Mr. Murphy. I am Jermaine. When I was talking about St. John Street and 475 coming through there in this project, I was Jermaine. You and him ain't Jermaine. Y'all looking, I guess, at that court case, think that my voice gonna get whispered instead. Y'all racist, discriminatory, and I'm gonna leave this meeting and gonna talk about you till the cows come home.
What's your point, Mr. Murphy? Mr. Mays, you are out of order. Mr. Murphy, what is your point?
Beg your pardon?
My
You are out of order. What's your
I had
point?
to flow you out of order.
There was a point of order called. You are out of order. Mr. Murphy, what's your point?
My point of order is him talking about discrimination.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. All right, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other discussion in the first
I
round?
ain't studying. I wish I didn't have to say his name.
Is there any other discussion in the first round? Is there any other discussion in the first round? In the second round?
Yes.
I saw Ms. Burns and then Ms. Burns and then Mr. Murphy.
Thank you.
For clarity, I apologize. For clarity, we are in the second round now.
I know, we got kind of, that went from, I followed that.
Okay.
I just need to make one remark because my family, my father, they are from St. John's. So actually having that name change to reflect that it's important as they do the trail and the new things that are coming over there. It's a part of the community. It's a part of, for many black people, our heritage. So I will be approving to have this done because it needs to be reflective of it, just like it is in Detroit, where eminent domain came through, displaced black people, and then we get projects now stating they want to shut down that part where they moved it out. So I support this so that we can, it's historical, and that committee has really worked really hard over the years to maintain that and to keep everyone together. And as people try to, or not as try, as people say black history doesn't matter, and in Florida, black history is American history, and this is black history, and it matters. Because this was the same as in Detroit and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and many other communities. So I support this in renaming that so that the name is reflective of what the community was and the heritage of the people at this historical site. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. Is there any other discussion in the
Yes.
second round? Mr.
Thank
Murphy.
you so much. And just for the public, as a city council person and a person whose family grew up on Idaho over in the St. John area that was raised listening to my mother and grandmother and them talk about the Idaho and St. John area. This is near and dear to my heart too, like so many of us that may have had family members that grew up on St. John Street or neighborhood and area. We heard many stories growing up. And one of the things that I wanted to bring to the public's awareness is when the state park was being designated, I was one of the first ones who advocated to try to get the state park added to the Door Highway Street. In doing that, the young man that was sitting in the back sent me an email about an application that talked about the Sparks grant and the other grant. So when he emailed me that while I was sitting here in the audience, I forwarded that email to Suzanne Wilcox and them. And from that, Roy from the planning department and the St. John group was meeting at the Flint Public Library, which I was one of those that was meeting, and we was going back and forth on where we wanted to spend the $1 million when we was putting the application in. There were some glitches in the application, so I was advocating behind closed doors, calling the people in the state to make sure that we get the application in on time. When I found out that they had some glitches where they couldn't submit the application. So I've been behind the scenes, and I don't talk about a lot of the things that I do behind the scenes because I don't want to have to bring it up, but every now and then I just need to let the community know that I'm advocating behind closed doors to try to bring funding to the north side of Flint or St. John and help. I not advocated to try to get that expansion of the state park. That grant application probably would not have presented itself. So we was able to apply for that grant, and thank Suzanne Wilcox and Roy and Mona Eunice and all of the St. John committee because they all worked together real tough. And the day right before we was getting ready to submit the grant at our last meeting, Commissioner Brian Nolan passed away. So while I was going into a meeting, I had got a call that Commissioner Nolan had passed. So it was very emotional for us, all of us in that committee. I mean, it was just all bad for us. We was in the process of applying for this grant and finalizing the application, and we was mourning, and I had to get myself together and get up out of there and go get myself together and come back in there and act like everything was okay when it wasn't okay with me because my colleague who supported me for councilman had just passed away. But I stood in there and I stuck in there, and we got that application done. So just for the record, for those who've been hearing that I didn't have anything to do with the application. Also, in addition, another application that was brought to me to try for I think it was 5 million, I'm not sure the number amount. I emailed it to Mike Brown, and he's in the back, to make sure that we can try to apply. So when people coming to me and telling me, here go opportunities for grants for the city of Flint, I'll move them to the right department that got the power and the capacity and the leadership skills to write the grant. He wrote the grant, and I guess we getting a dam replaced because they got an old aging dam over there that need to come out. So through that advocacy of me being a council person, I'm advocating for money for the third ward. So those who want to try to keep up or make these assumptions that I ain't doing nothing behind closed doors, keep watching. Because when I get done with the third ward, I'm going to turn that boy around, and I'm going to advocate and bring all kind of money. So those who trying to keep up with me, keep on trying to keep up with me, because I bet you any amount of money you ain't going to be keeping up with me, because I'm going to be moving and shaking and making things happen and bringing. And anybody who want to help bring the third ward, come on and join us, because while these naysayers out here talking that stuff, we going to keep on working. We got to roll up our sleeves. I got a lot of work to do. Like I'm going to keep on saying, my ward is jacked up to the flow up. I'm done.
All righty. Mr. Mitchell, is there anybody else in the second round? In the second round? In the second round. Okay, I will just very briefly say this. My colleague in the 6th Ward reminded me that over the summer, so first of all, I wholeheartedly support this, and I do think that we need to continue to honor the legacy, especially because urban renewal just destroyed communities of color. But I found, or one of my friends had a copy of the master plan from the city of Flint from the 60s that outlined the urban renewal, and it showed where it was taking out all of these houses and the St. John's neighborhood. And I was, having a conversation with somebody about it, and they were like, oh, like, did any of it come to fruition? I said, well, unfortunately, yes. Like, it took out this huge swath of the city, and it's just, one of those things where, again, I feel like a broken record tonight, so I do apologize, but we have to continue to advocate for Flint's future while also honoring its past. So I'm very, very excited to approve this. I think that this is long overdue. Congratulations to Mr. Murphy for working with the state as well to be able to help get that grant. That was through the DNR, I believe, the Spark grant. So kudos to you for that and for working for the city so hard. So with that takes us to the vote on the motion to approve Resolution 230077. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Herkenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Mr. Mays is absent. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
8 yes, 0 no. That is approved. 230059 did not make it out of special affairs. We've already passed 230052. That brings us down to our special order 230079 as requested by Vice President Lewis. Dr. Lewis?
I would, although the people that we were honoring are not here, I definitely would like to have just a few words.
You got 5 minutes according to the
No,
agenda.
Appreciate it.
You got it.
So when we passed the resolution honoring March as Women's History Month throughout the entire city of Flint, finally making it official, I declared that we were going to do something yearly to commemorate this. Well, Ms. Tamika Lang, she is an example of living women's history. She is a registered nurse and also CEO of, thank you, hold that for me. She's also CEO of Soaring CNA Training Center. And what Ms. Lang is doing, she is gifting CNA courses to ladies in the community so they can help change their life as well as the lives of the people that they serve. And we rolled out this first gifting at an event in the 2nd Ward. It was sponsored by La Rosa Patrick, and it was held at the Burston, at Burston Field House. And so this certificate of recognition is presented to Ms. Tamika Lang in her absence for helping us move the women in the city of Flint forward, helping establish careers, and helping to care for those that need the assistance. So I would like to congratulate Ms. Tamika Lang for all of her efforts and for being living women's history in the city of Flint. Thank you.
All right, with that, I will declare that special order closed.
Motion to adjourn.
There is a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a
Support.
second? It has been moved and properly supported. There is no discussion. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Hergenroder?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Murphy?
No.
Mr. Murphy? Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
7 yes, 1 no. It is 8:06. We are adjourned.
This meeting is dedicated to Mike Brown. Thank you.